You're listening to the Acadiana's Morning News Podcast, brought to you by LABI and always on KPEL965.com.
You don't need to get a second job as a stuntman to save money.
We need a new stuntman!
You just need feedthepig.org. Don't get left behind. Get tips and tools at feedthepig.org. Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL, Breaux Bridge, Lafayette. Broadcasting from the Matthew James Tax and Wealth Management Studios. Online at MatthewJames.com.
Smoke is rising over Gaza again. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The war is back on after a week-long break.
The strongest strikes we've heard in the southern part of Gaza. That is thought to be a Hamas stronghold.
Fox's Greg Palcott near the Gaza border in Israel.
Both sides are blaming each other. After over 100 hostages were freed, Israel says Hamas did not present an adequate list of possible released captives. Also, before the ceasefire was set to end this morning, Hamas shot off rockets at neighboring Israeli villages.
Now, Israel says Hamas is still holding 137 hostages, 22 of them women and children. Two governors debated on Fox last night.
Neither of us will be the nominee for our party in 2024.
California Governor Gavin Newsom traded barbs with Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who's running for the White House, calling President Biden too old.
And, Gavin Newsom agrees with that. He won't say that. That's why he's running his shadow campaign.
And as Fox's Jessica Rosenthal reports, they went back and forth.
I can handle it. I'm used to bullying. You're nothing but a bully.
You're a bully.
I understand that.
The debate began with a question about why so many people have left California and, in some cases, gone to Florida, as well as other states.
California has no peers. California dominates.
California Governor Gavin Newsom insists people are also moving back to California. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis said he laughed when Newsom said California was a more free state than his, but then reconsidered.
You have the freedom to defecate in public in California. You have the freedom to create a homeless encampment under a freeway and even light it on fire.
Congressman George Santos may be kicked out of the House today, but the Republican calls the vote to expel today a farce.
It is a predetermined necessity for some members in this body to engage in this smear campaign to destroy me.
After lying to New York voters about his past, Santos was indicted for campaign finance fraud, and a House ethics investigation found he spent campaign funds on himself. America's listening to Fox News.
Between global jihad, China, Russia, and our southern border, we are in for a long and protracted battle. You need to prepare for the worst. Protect your home, protect your family, and protect your investments. It's time to reach out to the Oxford Gold Group. They make it simple for whether you are buying more gold, diversifying your 401k, or buying gold for the first time. Call 833-995-GOLD or visit jessekellygold.com. That's jessekellygold.com.
Paid actor portrayal.
Life can be so unpredictable. After losing my dad, it made me think about my family if something were to happen to me. I had heard about life insurance through Ethos and how easy it was to get coverage. They were right. In 10 minutes, I was covered. And boom, family protected.
Ethos fast and easy online term life insurance up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com.
There's a manhunt this morning in Pennsylvania.
Do you know Hagen Cotter? He's the guy we're talking about right now. He was serving a sentence for theft and burglary charges. He had less than 5 months before his scheduled release, but that was not soon enough, apparently. Authorities say the 34-year-old escaped prison by climbing a fence while working in an orchard by the Riverside Correctional Facility in Northeast Philadelphia.
That's Fox's Alexandria Hoff. 2 Nevada State troopers are being mourned the day after they were killed on a highway in Las Vegas.
Responding to a motorist pulled over on Interstate 15 who appeared to be sleeping behind the wheel when a white Chevrolet collided with the officers.
Medical personnel responded and transported one of the troopers to UMC Trauma, where he later died. The other trooper, unfortunately, succumbed to his injuries at the scene.
Deputy Chief Brandon Clarkson, the unnamed suspect who fled the scene, later apprehended.
I want to remind everyone that this remains a dynamic and ongoing investigation being led by the LVMPD Homicide Section.
Nevada Governor Joe Lombardo calling the troopers' deaths a devastating loss, adding, "We will never forget their bravery, courage, and sacrifice." Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
On Wall Street, stock futures are mixed the day after a big surge for the Dow, up 520 points to a new high for the year. On Thursday Night Football,
Seattle had the lead late in the game, but Dallas was able to answer.
Lamb comes to the left. Looks toward Lamb. Shoulder shake. Throws. That's going to be caught by Ferguson. Touchdown.
That call courtesy of Amazon Prime Video, with the Cowboys going on to win 41-35. Dallas quarterback Dak Prescott had 3 touchdown passes on the night, as did Seattle QB Geno Smith, with all 3 of his scoring passes going to DK Metcalf.
That's Fox's Eric Messersmith. The Cowboys now 9-3, the Seahawks 6-6. In the NBA, the New York Knicks beat Detroit 118-112. The Pistons' 16th straight loss. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
Your 24/7 news source, on air, online, and with the KPEL News app. Now the headlines from the KPEL News Center.
Good morning. I'm Tracy Wirtz with a look at news on this Friday, December 1st. A federal judge is giving the Louisiana legislature until January 30th to redraw the state's congressional maps to include a second majority-minority district. It's a 2-week extension from the previous deadline. Under Louisiana law, the earliest a special session can take place would be January 15th. New Orleans Representative Matthew Willard, who has been elected chair of the House Democratic Caucus for the 2024 legislative term, says the courts agree the current congressional map passed by the majority Republican legislature twice violates the Voting Rights Act. Judge Dick has scheduled a February 5th trial date to hear the merits of that current map. A pedestrian walking along the Evangeline Thruway frontage road last night near Home Depot was shot by another person who was walking. Police say the suspect confronted the victim, pulled a gun, shot him in the leg, and then took the man's cell phone. He ran off and has not been located. The victim is in stable condition at a local hospital. Anyone with information is asked to call Lafayette Police. A former owner of ZZ's Kitchen in Abbeville has been convicted on drug charges for using his restaurant to store and deal fentanyl. Investigators say 41-year-old Gabriel Hawthorne worked with Frederick Thornton and Andrea Mitchell to distribute heroin that was mixed with fentanyl in the area. You'll find further details about that case on our website or on the KPEL app. Acadia Parish Sheriff KP Gibson has identified the victim of the November 22nd shooting as 35-year-old Daryl Marcus Lewis of Church Point. Gibson says a warrant is still outstanding for the suspect, 30-year-old Quincy Muta, on second-degree murder and home invasion charges. Anyone with information is asked to call the Acadia Parish Sheriff's Department or Acadia Crime Stoppers at 337-789-TIPS. The Sonic Christmas Parade will roll through downtown Lafayette on Sunday afternoon. The parade starts at 1 o'clock and will be followed by a Christmas carnival. Several Christmas events are planned in Acadiana this weekend. You'll find a list on our website or on the KPEL app. 8 football teams in Acadiana are vying for a shot at the state championship tonight. Opelousas and Acadiana Highs play host to their semifinal challengers. Vermilion Catholic, STM, and Cecilia will be on the road. Turlings will face LCA on Lafayette Christian's territory here in Lafayette. Turlings will be looking for some payback after losing to LCA last year in the semifinals. We've got information about where you can listen to the games on our website and the KPEL app. That's a look at news. I'm Tracy Wirtz.
Party at Rock and Bowl all weekend. Friday, Bag of Donuts. Saturday, Driven, a tribute to Rush. Sunday, Rusty Metier and Zydeco Crush. Tickets now at rockandbowl.com.
Rain and thunderstorms will be moving off to the east this morning, but then later today we're talking about more showers and thunderstorms developing. Cloudy skies otherwise with temperatures in the mid-70s. Tonight, showers and thunderstorms likely, a low near 70. Saturday, showers likely with a high temperature near 72. Sunday, we'll get back to just some cloud cover with the rain diminishing. Temperatures for highs around 71. From the Storm Team 3 Weather Lab, I'm meteorologist Dave Baker on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL. Right now, traffic.
And taking a look at what's happening on the roadways right now. School zones will be going into effect shortly, so be mindful of them. But the biggest thing this morning is the roadways are very wet, as many of us got heavy rains last night. So please be mindful of that as you're out and about on the roadways this morning, and just realize that, again, that rain will be with us throughout the day today. We've got some crashes to tell you about, one of them being University at Lee Avenue in Lafayette. That's University at Lee. And then we head to Karen Crow, still going down the same road, University at Veterans Drive. We have a crash in that area as well. That's University at Veterans Drive in Karen Crow. Also, we've got a crash at Ambassador Caffrey at Amity Parkway. That's Ambassador at Amity. And we have a crash on Whittington Drive. This is Whittington Drive right near its intersection with Johnston Street. .com. Good morning and welcome into Acadiana's Morning News. Brandon Como and Tracy Wirtz here with you.
Good morning. Happy Friday. Happy December 1st. And Brandon, like half the building didn't show up this morning, and I'm wondering if they had a party and they didn't invite us.
That's what I'm thinking. It's quiet in here.
I know. Where'd everybody go?
I don't know. I don't know if they just didn't show up to work or they slept in or what.
Or maybe they're broadcasting on the road. Who knows? But man, it's just really quiet.
Well, it's really quiet for the time being. We have a certain guest that'll be gracing the airwaves in a
maybe
few
that's
minutes.
it. Maybe they got scared and stayed home.
Breaking the law. Breaking the law.
He doesn't even need a microphone.
No, he doesn't. No. Okay.
Stand right here.
Okay, so it is December 1st.
Yes.
What we got going on today, Brandon?
All right, so today is National Pie Day.
Pie like...
No, like P-I-E, not...
Okay, yeah, 'cause
no,
Pie
that's
Day's in
3/14.
March, huh?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
3/14 of the,
Okay,
no,
I'm all
today is
about
National
this one.
Pie Day today.
Oh, yeah. Favorite?
Favorite pie? Pecan pie.
Yeah. See, mine's a toss-up between pecan and apple.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Miss Apple pie.
Cake better than pie?
Every day of the week.
Wait.
For one
Well, it's
reason
Pie
and one
Day.
reason only.
Turn his mic off.
Okay.
It's Pie Day.
Mike is going back
Pie
off.
Day. We didn't ask that
Okay,
question.
By the way, I have to reset.
He's going off the rails.
I have to reset. As much as I love pecan pie, I forgot. Actually, my favorite pie of all time is chocolate eclair pie.
Okay.
Have you ever had that?
No, it just sounds really, really,
let
really
me describe
sweet.
it for you. Okay, it is. Well, okay, so what it is it's layers of graham cracker crust.
Uh-huh.
And in the middle of those layers, you have vanilla pudding mixed with whipped cream.
Okay.
And then on the top, you have that baker's chocolate melted down. And that's your taste of heaven.
Okay, that does sound pretty good.
It's really good.
That does sound pretty good.
All right, so now that we are past National Pie Day, today is also, I think, very fitting for a Friday, National Bartender Day.
Okay. Where's it?
Celebrated as the first Friday in December.
Okay.
Here's a good
Mixologists.
Yes,
That's what I was-
mixologists.
Yeah, okay.
There you go. Here's a good use of alliteration here. Today is Faux Fur Friday.
You have to be very careful how you say that. I'm just going to let you know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I just realized that. So I'm not going to try that one again and not push my luck. Today is also, we're talking about all the pie and the drinks and the unhealthy stuff.
yeah.
Well, let's talk about today is also National Eat a Red Apple Day.
I love red apples.
Okay. I prefer the green ones.
Mm-mm. Now I want an apple.
Well, you're like my daughter. She loves the red apples. It's hilarious because she'll grab one, she'll start eating it, and then my little boy will come and finish off the rest.
Well, of course.
They tag team.
Hey, no waste.
Today is also Rosa Parks Day.
Mm-hmm. We'll
course.
talk about that.
Yes, of course, we know about Rosa Parks. Like you said, we'll elaborate more on that. And then also today is Antarctica Day.
Okay.
There was actually a Netflix series that kind of centered around the main character's love of Antarctica and his devotion to getting there. Other than that, Antarctica doesn't really interest me, to be honest.
No,
with you.
and Rob may know this. You may know this. Which one? Penguins live at one, but not the other. Like the north or it's south Antarctica. Okay. Thank you, Rob.
All right.
Now be quiet again.
I was trying to think how to say it, but you said it perfectly. All right.
I get it. It's okay.
All right. And we got one more. We do have to get serious for this one.
Okay.
Today is World AIDS Day. And we're talking about the disease.
Yep.
So there you go.
On this date in 1814, the Battle of New Orleans, led by General Andrew Jackson, began. On this date in 1862, President Abraham Lincoln sent his second annual message to Congress in which he called for the abolition of slavery. And he went on to say, quote, "Fellow citizens, we cannot escape history. We of this Congress and this administration will be remembered in spite of ourselves."
Very cool.
Profound words.
Yeah.
On this date in 1941, okay, remember it's December 1st, 1941, Japanese Emperor Hirohito approved plans set forward by his advisors to go to war against the United States. And of course, 6 days later, the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor. As I was reading this, something that was interesting to me, and I'd be really interested to get into a conversation with Professor Bob.
Okay.
In reading it, Hirohito did not want to go to war with the West. He had visited Great Britain and liked it and, thought that there were opportunities there.
Yeah.
But he felt like if he didn't agree with their declaration of war, that he would get unseated or worse, killed. So I thought that was an interesting tidbit. The fact that he did it, makes us not like him. But I thought that was an interesting backstory.
Well, they signed their own death warrant with the way that they attacked us.
Pretty much.
I mean, the country was pretty divided about going to war, and that just pushed us right into it.
Sealed the deal.
By the way, that December 7th is going to be the date that Bob will be here. So I'm curious as to see if that's what he's going to talk about.
We'll have to send him a note.
Yes.
On this date in 1955, as you said, it's Rosa Parks Day. Rosa Parks, a black seamstress, was arrested after refusing to give up her seat to a white man on a Montgomery, Alabama city bus. And, of course, we have the Rosa Parks Transportation Center even here in Lafayette. On this date, in 1984, NASA, in partnership with the FAA, intentionally crashed a Boeing 720 aircraft to test new safety technology. It was determined that only a quarter of the passengers would have survived that crash. So now you know.
Shoo.
And there weren't real people on the plane, by the way. Just kind of,
Well, anytime I hear a plane crash, I think about the fact that my parents were very close to getting onto a plane before I was born, and that plane ended up crashing, and everyone was killed inside.
I'm so glad they didn't.
I know. I'm glad I wouldn't be here today.
Yeah.
So there you go.
And on this date, and I bring this up because of, again, what's going on in the world around us. On this date in 1991, Ukrainians voted overwhelmingly for independence from the Soviet Union. So they've only been independent, if you think about it, I have to do the math. Like 1991 was 5 years ago, right? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Like 32 years ago. And look where we are today.
I kept wanting to say 20.
Yeah, I know. But, and look where we are today.
Yeah.
They're continuing to fight for their freedom.
Yep. KPEL News Time, 6:20.
Breaking news, traffic troubles as they happen, and your Acadiana forecast. Just one tap away on the free KPEL News app. Download it today in the App Store and Google Play.
Wasting out of work and down. All inside, it's so frustrating as a trip from town to town. Feels as though nobody cares if I let one die. So I might as well begin to put some action in my life.
Breaking the law.
I turned off my headphones.
Breaking the law.
Just
Breaking
stop.
the law. Let's turn it up for you here. I got it controlled.
Get your hands off.
Breaking the law.
We're gonna fight. I'm telling you.
Sorry, we've been fighting.
I am gonna roll.
We're like
you.
brother and sister.
I know.
We've
I'm
been
gonna
fighting for
roll
years.
you. Meet me in the lobby.
And with that, we welcome in the very loud.
Yes.
I was going to say something else.
And I've
but-
been hearing "Shut Up, Rob" for
Yeah.
more
Yeah,
years
well,
than I can
it's
count.
true.
So
Yeah,
it's all
true.
good.
It's true. Yeah.
Oh, man. Winky Dinky Dog joining us in the studio. What's up, man?
I feel very short.
Nah, you do look short with
I
the
know.
way
I
your
feel very. I'm in
configuration
some
is set up.
office chair and having to look up to this mic.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I know, right?
All right.
All right, we're in Texas.
Yes.
And I got a lot of stuff, so I'm going to try to get to it as quickly as we can.
Okay.
A recently passed anti-crime law requires criminals to give their victims 24 hours notice, either orally or in writing.
Wait, what?
To explain the
I'm
nature
coming
of
to
the
shoot you.
crime to be committed.
Wow.
Okay.
That might be
And
one
you
of the
wonder
worst
why
ones.
I do this stuff, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
this is just funny, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that just smacks of elected officials. We're going to do something to
Oh, yeah.
to beat crime.
You know.
We're going to make What?
Yeah, that
Right.
makes no sense.
But
at
we're
all.
making the state safer.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
Right? Yeah.
In whose mind?
Yeah.
There is an old law in Texas that states you are unable to tuck your pants into one boot unless you own 10 or more cattle.
That sounds like a Texas law.
Yeah, that's a status symbol right
Yeah,
there.
there you go.
Yeah. Can't be representing the Lone Star State if you're dressed inappropriately.
There you
We
go.
have a lot of concealed carry permitters out there of handguns, but there is no concealed carry of wire cutters in Texas.
Well, doggone it.
I know,
You
right?
just have to open carry your wire cutters.
Allegedly, it came from a time when ranchers disputed over open ranges versus fencing of their land. Instead of addressing who is right, the law prevented ranchers from cutting each other's fences
Yeah, well.
by
yeah.
making it illegal to carry wire cutters.
All right. No, so they can't carry them or they just can't conceal carry
They
them?
can't conceal.
Okay.
They can
yeah.
walk around, but then
Yeah.
you got to get, you may get shot.
Yeah, well, there's
Lord.
that. There's that.
No eating of your neighbor's garbage.
All right.
What did you do over there? Did you go to Texas one time and,
Oh gosh.
That is not my fault.
This one doesn't need much context, but there are some towns in Texas where it's illegal to dig in your neighbor's trash for food or anything else. You can be charged with property theft and even trespassing.
Wow.
However, raccoons are exempt.
Well, what you gonna do, right?
Marriage via proclamation. Texas is a common law marriage state, which means you are considered legally married if the couple makes 3 public announcements that they are married.
Okay.
Moreover, a couple can be considered legally married even if the other spouse isn't present for the ceremony.
Wow, okay.
That's the part that I found interesting.
Yeah.
Well, and you know what's funny is, and I'm gonna digress here for a minute.
Okay.
Warning: in Pennsylvania, you can marry yourself. Not like when I say marry yourself, a couple can get married by themselves, like without somebody.
Oh, like without a priest?
A preacher, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
An officiant.
Inefficient. There
Yeah,
you go.
my niece did that. It was very odd.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was, they were happy as clams, but
Do they just like give the vows to each other?
yeah, and
just, yeah.
I don't know all the particulars, but yeah.
Okay.
Talk about strange but true, huh?
Save some
And that's
money.
happening today.
Yeah, okay.
All right. A lot of what I get is from attorney websites.
Okay.
It kind of tells you it's kind of legal, right? Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of legal. I like the way he said that. Kind of legal.
Some cities in Texas, and unfortunately I could not find the exact ones, require you to have a permit to walk barefoot. They're required to purchase a $5 permit before walking around barefoot.
Well,
you'll-
let
Is that
me
to save
tell you.
lawsuits?
Yeah, that was probably to keep the Louisiana folks out because they love to walk barefoot over
They
here.
did a quotations for sanitation and appearance purposes.
Ah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
El Paso has a law in the books requiring spittoons in churches, assembly halls, hotels, banks, stores, train depots, and saloons.
Well, they were gonna dip anyway or chew
Yeah.
tobacco, and I guess that makes it makes sense.
Not hard to imagine why.
Yeah,
right? It's just imagine
yeah,
why
you-
it's still on the law, basically. You ever go to a hotel in Texas and decide to stay on the second floor? You are not allowed to shoot buffalo from the balcony.
Dang it!
well.
I know.
That
In
just
case you were
ruins the
hoping to
whole
hunt
trip.
from your Best Western or
just
Super
ruins
8
the whole trip.
balcony window,
Yes.
it's against the law.
Another
Dang
very
it.
Texas law. There
Yeah.
you go. I like it.
Your horse needs taillights. Sometimes a strange law can still make sense. This one ended up with a law like this one from Texarkana. It's only legal to ride your horse at night if it has taillights.
Wait, you said it's a law from Texarkana?
Yes.
So does that mean that it applies to the Texarkana area within
Well,
the 3
there's
different
Texarkana,
states?
Texas.
Oh,
It's-
Texarkana.
There's a
Okay.
state. Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean,
Sorry.
a city.
I forgot
in
about
Texas.
that.
Right
yeah.
there on the
Okay.
corner.
Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
Because that's where Smokey and the Bandit was going. Come on.
Oh, Lord. Everything comes back to Smokey
That's
and the
where the
Bandit for
Coors
you.
was sold, and they couldn't get it in Georgia,
Yeah.
so they had to go to Texarkana.
Not 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. It's 6 degrees of Smokey and the Bandit.
That's it, man. Eastbound and down, baby. Windshield wipers required. As it turns out, although Texas does not require driving with a windshield.
Oh, but they have to have windshield wipers.
Right.
Well,
So this is allowing like Jeep Wranglers to be able to fold down their windows should they wish. However, it does require that you have wipers.
all righty.
Yeah.
That's a trick I want to see.
It's illegal to drive within arm's length of alcohol. Now, there's a law in Lubbock stating that it's illegal to drive within arm's length of alcohol. That kind of makes sense, right?
Right. Okay.
However, if you're trying to prevent drinking and driving, it's only sensible to make it illegal for drivers to drive with alcohol in reach, except this law technically applies to alcohol in someone else's bloodstream. If you're looking to be a designated driver, you either need to put your passenger in the back or have very short arms.
Wow.
Well, I guess maybe so that way they can't grab the steering wheel
So
when
you
they're
can't have
inebriated
your
state.
passenger next to you with a beer in his hand.
Well, but
because
you know,
it's in within arm's reach.
Well, but you know it probably goes hand in hand with if I'm driving and I have a beer and you pull me over, I hand it to the person next to me.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder
Yeah.
to hand it in the back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me.
Okay.
I mean, it's weird, but kind of subjective.
It's illegal to have odorous emissions in an elevator in Texas.
Dang it! I can't ever ride an elevator
This
again.
is one of those laws you might wish was illegal in your town, but Port Arthur, Texas, it's illegal to emit obnoxious odors in the elevator. Well, that can mean any number of emissions. There is one particular.
Oh, of course.
I'm sure this one happened with the legislature sitting right next to him.
Oh, I'm sure.
That reminds me of one of my favorite jokes. It's not long. Avon lady goes into an elevator.
Okay.
And, you know, her stomach bothers her, right?
Oh.
So she took out some spray and sprayed the elevator, and a guy steps on, and he turned around and he said, "Man, it smells like somebody pooped a pine tree."
Yeah.
That probably was not tasteful at 6:30 in the morning, but I always thought it was funny.
I like it. Joke
Whoever
time with
said
Tracy
you were
Works.
tasteful, right?
Yeah, there we go.
You can make fun of me. We can go back. All right. Permit for getting drunk. This law is actually about what is permitted under the law rather than what's not allowed. It's obviously illegal in most Texas towns to be drunk in public spaces, at least to the degree that you're a nuisance or a danger to others. However, in some towns, you can allegedly request a permit from the director of Parks and Recreation to get drunk in a city park.
I wonder how much that permit costs.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, one more.
All right. It's against the law to kids to have unusual haircut. It's allegedly illegal for children to have unusual haircuts in Mesquite, Texas. While we don't know if any court would uphold the enforcement of that law, it's still interesting to note how and why someone would feel the need to legislate fashion.
Well, yeah, I mean, mullets.
That's the very first one I thought about.
Kids
Yes.
with like really tight up tight and mullets
And
hanging
it's the
down.
thing now,
Yes.
again.
I have a nephew.
And
that
I
has one.
look at it and I think, we thought that was cute.
No.
I have a nephew in Parks with one right now.
Yeah. My bonus grandson has one. And I was like, what? Look, Gigi. I'm like, put your hat back on, boo. Put your hat back on.
All right, strange but true. Winky Dinky Dog, as always, man. Good to have you in.
You say that, but
I don't really mean it.
I'm going to maybe sit next to you next time.
Leveraging the power of Fox News Radio to cover the big issues that matter to you. News Talk 96.5. KPEL. Depend on it. Your 24/7 news source, on air, online, and with the KPEL News app. Now the headlines from the KPEL News Center.
Good morning. I'm Tracy Wirtz with a look at news on this Friday, December 1st. A federal judge is giving the Louisiana legislature until January 30th to redraw the state's congressional maps to include a second majority-minority district. It's a 2-week extension from the previous deadline. Under Louisiana law, the earliest a special session can take place would be January 15th. New Orleans Representative Matthew Willard, who has been elected chair of the House Democratic Caucus for the 2024 legislative term, says the courts agree the current congressional map passed by the majority Republican legislature twice violates the Voting Rights Act. Judge Dick has scheduled a February 5th trial date to hear the merits of that current map. A pedestrian walking along the Evangeline Thruway frontage road last night near Home Depot was shot by another person who was walking. Police say the suspect confronted the victim, pulled a gun, shot him in the leg, and then took the man's cell phone. He ran off and has not been located. The victim is in stable condition at a local hospital. Anyone with information is asked to call Lafayette Police. A former owner of ZZ's Kitchen in Abbeville has been convicted on drug charges for using his restaurant to store and deal fentanyl. Investigators say 41-year-old Gabriel Hawthorne worked with Frederick Thornton and Andrea Mitchell to distribute heroin that was mixed with fentanyl in the area. You'll find further details about that case on our website or on the KPEL app. Acadia Parish Sheriff KP Gibson has identified the victim of the November 22nd shooting as 35-year-old Daryl Marcus Lewis of Church Point. Gibson says a warrant is still outstanding for the suspect, 30-year-old Quincy Muta, on second-degree murder and home invasion charges. Anyone with information is asked to call the Acadia Parish Sheriff's Department or Acadia Crime Stoppers at 337-789-TIPS. A retired state Supreme Court justice is expected to hand down his ruling today regarding a lawsuit filed by Caddo Parish Sheriff candidate John Nicholson, who lost the election. The original runoff numbers and recount of the ballots declared Henry Whitehorn the winner by 1 vote. The Sonic Christmas Parade will roll through downtown Lafayette on Sunday afternoon. The parade starts at 1 o'clock and will be followed by a Christmas carnival. Several Christmas events are planned in Acadiana this weekend. You'll find a list on our website or on the KPEL app. A new Boys and Girls Club is in the works for Crowley. It would be the first in Acadia Parish, and organizers are working with business and community leaders to reach their fundraising goal. Work to establish the club could begin at the beginning of the year. 8 football teams in Acadiana are vying for a shot at the state championship tonight. Opelousas and Acadiana Highs play host to their semifinal challengers. Vermilion Catholic, STM, and Cecilia will be on the road. Turlings will face LCA on Lafayette Christian's territory here in Lafayette. Turlings will be looking for some payback after losing to LCA last year in the semifinals. We've got information about where you can listen to the games on our website and the KPEL app. That's a look at news. I'm Tracy Wirtz.
Party at Rockin' Bowl all weekend. Friday, Bag of Donuts. Saturday, Driven, a tribute to Rush. Sunday, Rusty Metier and Zydeco Crush. Tickets now at rockinbowl.com.
Rain and thunderstorms will be moving off to the east this morning, but then later today we're talking about more showers and thunderstorms developing. Cloudy skies otherwise with temperatures in the mid-70s. Tonight, showers and thunderstorms likely, a low near 70. Saturday, showers likely with a high temperature near 72. Sunday, we'll get back to just some cloud cover with the rain diminishing. Temperatures for highs around 71. From the Storm Team 3 Weather Lab, I'm meteorologist Dave Baker on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL. Right now, traffic.
All right, taking a look at what's happening on the roadways right now. We do have a couple lights that are out. One of them is on Kali Saloom. This is Kali Saloom right near its intersection with Pinhook, actually at its intersection with Pinhook Road. Also, we have another light out being reported. Let's see here. Trying to get a good location here for you. This one's a little tricky. It's telling us that it's at the 600 block of the Southwest Evangeline Thruway. Oh, at its intersection with... okay, I'm not sure. It just says 600 block of the Evangeline Thruway. That's all we're getting right now. So if you're in that area, just be mindful of that. Other than that, we do have one crash, University at Lee. That's University at Lee. And that's it right now. Just please be safe as you've got school zones starting to go into effect. It is wet and nasty out there, so just be careful, be cautious on the roadways.
KPEL covers Acadiana with Lowry's Printing and Copying.
The Lafayette Genealogical Society invites you to Genealogy 101, a free workshop and roundtable set for Saturday, December 2nd at the main branch of the Lafayette Public Library, which is in downtown Lafayette. The meeting is on the 3rd floor of the library, and it starts up at 9:30 a.m. Learn how to begin your genealogy research. Also learn about other meetings of the Lafayette Genealogical Society. The Iberia Performing Arts League presents their next show of the season, the hilarious musical Nonsense 2, The Second Coming. The play runs December 8th through the 17th at the beautiful and historic SNA Theater in New Iberia. Shows are Thursday through Saturday at 7:30 p.m., and there are Sunday matinees. To get the complete schedule and how to get your tickets, give them a call at the Iberia Performing Arts League at 337-256-0604.
If you or your organization has an event that you would like to get on the KPEL community calendar, email it to news@kpel965.com. That's news@kpel965.com. News Talk 96.5 KPEL, broadcasting from the Matthew James Tax and Wealth Management Studios. Find out more about how they can help you at MatthewJames.com.
KPEL News Time is 6:42 and 67 degrees under mostly cloudy conditions. By the way, speaking about the weather, when I stepped out this morning, obviously it feels stuffy in here, but you could tell the temperature went up compared to what we felt the past couple mornings.
I was almost shocked this morning
Me
because
too.
it wasn't just warmer, it was muggier again. Like I thought, oh man, come on.
Well, I was shocked until I remembered, listen, look where you're living at. You're living in Louisiana. But, normally after rain, things cool off.
Yeah.
But it actually warmed up since the rain.
Yeah.
But yesterday was not fun to travel out in.
No.
Oh,
well,
man.
but if you look at the radar, I'm not a meteorologist. I just have some cell phone numbers. But that when you look at the radar, it's coming in from the south. So that makes sense.
Okay.
So, when it comes in from the north, it's cooler. And when it comes in from the, you know how that works.
No, I get it. No, well, I'm glad, and I'm glad you made
One
that
time I
distinction.
did play a meteorologist on TV. I just want you to know that.
Really? Is there tape?
there was a there was a morning where well, first of all, Dave, I always gave Dave a hard time about the clicker, you know? And he wouldn't let me touch the clicker. And so one morning he did. And there was a morning when either he called in sick, something happened, and the meteorologist was late, whoever it was. And so I had to do weather, and I was really bad at it. I just want you to know. Because it takes...
Well, I'm sure it does.
It takes a lot of... They make it look so easy, but well, of course, that's part of everybody's job is to make what you do look easy.
Yeah.
Anyway, but of course, what you see behind them is not a map. It's a green screen. So they have these monitors on either side and typically one in the front where they can watch to see where their hands are going and as they gesture toward the map.
Yeah.
And it's very confusing. And they know, like if they advance the map and then you see it moving and you see the fronts coming down or coming up or whatever, they know how to flow and move around that.
Yeah.
Not me.
I'm sure with practice, I'm sure you get really good at it yourself.
Yeah, well, I didn't. Yeah, they took the clicker from me, never to be offered again. But yeah.
By the way, Dave Baker, that is a man of many talents. He makes a lot of things look easy.
Oh yeah, Dave does. He really does.
And I'll never forget back when Bernie used to do the Up Close show on Saturday mornings, which has been taken over by Mark Pope. It's now Savez-vous at 7 a.m. on Thursdays, and Bernie got to sit down with Dave and just ask him about his life and his story. And
he has a very interesting
great.
story too.
Yeah, very interesting story. Great stuff.
Yeah, I know that we'll all miss him on TV when he leaves at the beginning of the year. And he's been around here for a long time and really calls Acadiana home because he's been here for 30 years.
Absolutely.
So you want to go ahead and take a break and then come back and we'll talk about redistricting the congressional maps. KPEL News Time 644.
More than 80% of Americans side with Israel. So you have to wonder why there's such a disproportionate number of pro-Hamas demonstrations across America. The answer is AI and deep fakes. The LA Times reports thousands of online images show bombed out buildings in Gaza. Some stand out for their absolute horror. Photos of bloodied and abandoned infants viewed millions of times. If you run across one, look closely. Fingers curl oddly. Eyes shimmer with an unnatural light. Obvious deep fakes. But the anger that they're causing is very real. Pro-Hamas protesters are fighting mad. The photos are a lie. But as Mark Twain said, a lie, in this case a deep fake, will get halfway around the world before the truth can get out of bed and get its pants on. Always keep that in mind. Hey, I'm giving away a brand new iPhone 15. You can enter to win right now at commando.com/win.
All right, KPEL News Time is 6:47 as well. It is warm right now. Temperatures are expected to drop, though, as we go throughout your day.
But not a whole lot.
Not a whole lot.
Yeah.
But as the rain continues, we kind of hit our I don't say we hit our high, but
Right.
it's not going to get warmer than this.
Yeah. So
Okay.
if you're waking up this morning, it's not raining. It's supposed to start all over again.
Yes, we get to enjoy that rain more and more. I think by the time we're done with this rain, we're going to have experienced all we want of it.
No, you're right. Right now we are. Yesterday some. I don't know if you'd call it good news, but it's a little bit more positive in the redistricting case, redrawing the district maps, the congressional maps for the state of Louisiana. Judge Shelley Dick did grant an extension.
15-day extension.
Yeah, but it's
essentially.
not much, right?
It's not much.
And, it sounds like she's pretty doggone serious. Like, I want
Yeah.
y'all to get this done sooner rather than later.
Right.
So the new deadline is the 30th. But remember, we had this discussion when it all started about the time required when a governor calls for a special session between announcing it and actually having it, and then having to do all of that work. And when you look at the timeline, they get installed, inaugurated, take office, whatever, January 8th. So that day, essentially,
Yeah.
Jeff Landry would have to call a special session, which then would start the 15th, and they would have 2 weeks to adopt.
And I'll be
congressional
honest
maps.
with you. You might be surprised hearing me say this. I don't have a problem with that because it'll force them to get to work right away and get this thing done.
Well, and I don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
Here's my concern.
Yeah.
Is that there are new legislators who, they're just going to still be,
Babies.
they're still going to be learning.
Yeah.
Procedure, protocol, setting things up, and I don't have a problem with the legislative session, a special legislative session. My concern is they won't be in the learning curve where they need to be to potentially make decisions
Yes.
that will benefit the state as a whole going forward.
And that's why leadership is incredibly important in this thing. Putting the right leaders in place that will be able to help those young legislators and be able to bring everyone along to coming to a workable solution is incredibly important right now.
Well, and I was thinking actually about this on my way to work this morning, and I'm sure that this is happening.
Yeah.
I'd be interested. Maybe we can reach out to some of the newer ones, but I would suspect that a call has gone out in terms of, hey, this is what the maps look like. Start studying them. Bring your ideas to the table when we do meet in special session. They can, of course, meet prior to that without public notice because of open meetings laws, et cetera, and the way that all works. And we can talk about that a whole nother day because I used to be pretty smart with that stuff. Anyway, but I'm hoping that they're doing their due diligence now.
Yeah, being prepared for it.
Yeah, so that when they all get into session, they can have a plan. Now, some more news that came out is that New Orleans Representative Matthew Willard has been elected chairman of the House Democratic Caucus for 2024. And even, he said, or even according to this story, with the Republican governor and supermajority in the legislature, he says Democrats will continue to champion people-centric issues like insurance reform, equal pay, rape and incest exceptions to the state's abortion ban, et cetera. But he does, in this, the article does talk about the special redistricting session that nobody's made an official announcement, but given the timing, it's almost, I would think, a foregone conclusion. He says he believes that lawmakers will complete the task. He also says the courts agree the current congressional map passed by the majority Republican legislature twice violates the Voting Rights Act, and that GOP members who thought the courts would approve their map with only one majority black congressional district no longer have that fail-safe. So it will be incredibly interesting to see how all of this shakes out.
Yes, and so the two districts at most risk, of course, are Julia Letlows and Garrett Graves.
Right.
And Garrett Graves has worked himself into a quite a position of influence being up there in Washington. But what's interesting about all this is Democrats right now across the state, I mean, we saw it in the last elections. It's like they're almost non-existent.
Right. Which, to me, as I read this, only puts more pressure on them to stay cohesive and fight with one voice.
They have to have something here. To get a congressional seat out of this, while it's not a statewide position, would be huge for their party. To be able to get a redrawn map that allows for 2 minority-majority districts, that would be huge for them. One thing of interest as well that I want to point out is you mentioned the new House Democratic Caucus chair as being Willard. You also have a New Iberia representative, Marcus Bryant, who was just reelected. He was elected vice chair. So, you know, we got a lot of Acadiana influence from the Republican side. We got a little bit on the Democrat side as well from this area. But with that being the case, all this being the case, you know, again, it's going to force them to go in there as Republicans, because Republicans have those huge majorities. Make sure that they can come together and come up with something, because the Democrats, like you said, they will expect them to unite on this, and Republicans are going to have to unite themselves and come up with something, reasonable.
Another interesting date in all of this is that as of right now, there is a hearing on February 5th in front of Judge Dick about the current map. And I would think it's so that they can plead their case. But this has been up and down the court system.
It has been.
You know, I don't see a path to the current map as it's drawn. And when I say current is the map that basically they've said, okay, you need to redraw this.
Which doesn't have the 2 minority-majority.
Exactly. I don't see a path to that sticking.
Yeah.
But you and I have had the conversation several times. I know the question in my head is, how do you do this without gerrymandering?
And again, it's like I've said, there's gerrymandering and then there's legal gerrymandering.
Yeah.
It's amazing how you can get away with one and not the other.
Right.
But, you know, I go back to what our Attorney General-elect has talked about, Liz Morrell, and that she believed that, you know, the current maps were going to be okay. And then you have now Judge Shelley Dick, who's basically said, no, they're not. And so I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what's going to happen.
No, I
don't.
And it really has me scratching my head because just the how we get from here to what the courts want, which is 2 majority minority districts. How do we get from here to there legally? And, you know, I there's a lot more information, I'm sure. No, there's a lot more information I know that I would need to speak more in depth on that, because I know the population numbers. I know where we sit in terms of how our population is made up, the racial percentages. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to happen.
But the thing about that, though, is, you know, that 33% minority African American, they're concentrated in certain areas of the state, not across the state, which is why you would have to gerrymander those lines in a very interesting way. And to me, and I'm not about minimizing any voices, but to me, that just seems wrong.
No, it does. And I'm going to say this and probably get people upset. It's manipulating the vote.
Absolutely.
You know, and that bothers me. That really bothers me when you manipulate the vote like that.
And I
mean, because that's what it is.
Yeah, it is.
You're manipulating the vote.
It is. I just and you know, when I kind of read between the line when I see these politicians speaking, and you know, when Willard says, quote, we'll be doing everything we can to make sure that we're not diluting the voices of black voters in Louisiana and to get those 2 majority-minority seats, what I read between that is, this is our chance to get some kind of a power play back in here.
Yeah.
And if we have to use the voices of black voters to do that, that's what we're going to do. That's what it is when you read between the lines.
Right.
Let's just be honest about that.
Oh, man, it is going to be interesting to see what happens next. Again, no special session officially called right now. I think that it's in the cards or writing on the wall, all of those cliche terms. I think you can expect to see them hit the ground running.
I wonder if they're not only going to call a special session for that, but if they're going to also call a special session to be able to have the to change our election system. You know, talking about changing it to where it puts it in line with the rest of the country.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And basically making it where the closed primaries instead of open primaries.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be surprised if they call that one too soon.
Oh, that'll be interesting. Lots to watch in state politics.
The Fox Business Report is brought to you by Gulf Coast Bank, your local community bank. Whether your financial needs are for an individual, a business, or for the whole family, Gulf Coast Bank has the knowledge and products to serve you best. With 9 convenient locations throughout Acadiana, you're never far from a friendly Gulf Coast Bank associate.
I'm Neil Cavuto, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Asian markets closed mainly higher, and European indices are in the green the day after a 520-point rally by the Dow, which pushed it to its high for the year. A well-known name in the vacuum cleaner industry is in the news. James Dyson, the billionaire inventor of the bagless vacuum cleaner, has lost a libel lawsuit against a British newspaper publisher over a column that criticized him for moving the global head office of his company from Britain to Singapore after championing the economic benefits of Brexit. And Elon Musk's futuristic-looking Tesla Cybertruck debuts at $61,000. The truck could cost as much as $100,000, depending on the model. According to the Tesla website, pricier versions will have a range of 340 miles and a towing capacity of 11,000 pounds. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Lillian Wu, invested in you.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Ceased the ceasefire. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Air raid sirens in Israel after rockets fired by Hamas. The war in Gaza back on.
Blast in the background right now. Israel announcing it was resuming strikes and hit a variety of locations.
Fox's Greg Palcott near the Gaza border.
Locals were warned to leave certain areas in the south, but still there are a bunch of reported casualties, adding to the humanitarian disaster. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu's office released a statement. The government of Israel is committed to achieving the goals of the war, releasing the hostages, eliminating Hamas, and ensuring Gaza never again constitutes a threat to the residents of Israel.
Now, the talks in Qatar continue, trying to get a ceasefire back in place to get more hostages out. Israel says Hamas still has 137 people captive. A red state, blue state debate on Fox. 2 governors sparred last night. California Democrat Gavin Newsom touting
14 million jobs, 10 times more than the last 3 Republican presidents combined.
Because he had
815,000 manufacturing
the jobs were because of the COVID lockdowns. Are you kidding me?
Florida Republican Ron DeSantis firing back.
They have chosen in California to put the interests of the criminals over public safety.
They also got into it over immigration.
You're trolling folks and trying to find migrants to play political games to try to get some news and attention so you can out-Trump Trump. And by the way, how's that going for you?
DeSantis, who's running for president, accused Newsom of running his own shadow campaign to try to replace President Biden as the 2024 Democratic nominee. The House will vote in a few hours considering expelling Republican Congressman George Santos, who refuses to go quietly.
If I leave, the bullies take place. This is bullying.
Santos, who lied to New York voters about his past, has also been indicted for fraud. A House ethics investigation found he spent campaigning money on himself. A federal judge has blocked Montana's ban on TikTok, supposed to take effect next year. The judge ruled oversteps the state's authority to infringing on TikTok users' rights. America's listening to Fox News.
Can you trust the government to protect you? We have political chaos, high inflation, global wars, no border protection, and our leadership telling you about pronouns in electric cars. It's time to take a hard look at protecting yourself and your family. It's time to call Oxford Gold Group. Whether you want to diversify against inflation or have gold on hand, you need to visit jessekellygold.com. Protect yourself with a visit to jessekellygold.com. That's jessekellygold.com.
Paid actor portrayal.
Life can be so unpredictable. After losing my dad, it made me think about my family if something were to happen to me. I had heard about life insurance through Ethos and how easy it was to get coverage. They were right. In 10 minutes, I was covered. And boom, family protected.
Ethos fast and easy online term life insurance up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com.
There's an update in the investigation to last month's shooting in Burlington, Vermont that left 3 men of Palestinian descent wounded. An ex-girlfriend of the accused gunman says she had police remove his gun from her home a decade ago.
The unidentified woman told police in Syracuse, New York back in 2013 that she wanted to turn in the shotgun belonging to her ex, Jason Eaton, saying they had split and she didn't feel safe returning it herself. The woman says she had a history of domestic violence with Eaton and didn't want any contact with him when she turned over the Deerslayer 20-gauge shotgun. Syracuse police also confirming Eaton's name appeared on 37 police reports from 2007 to 2021, but never as a suspect. Eaton remains held without bail after pleading not guilty to shooting and seriously wounding 3 Palestinian students who were visiting Burlington, Vermont for the Thanksgiving holiday. Matt Napolitano, Fox News.
On Wall Street, stock futures are mixed. The day after the Dow's big surge to a new high for 2023, closing out November with a nearly 9% gain, the Dow's best month since October of last year. Now, it's December 1st, so there are just 24 shopping days left for gifts under the tree and a really big tree up at the White House.
3, 2, 1. And with that, the White House Christmas tree was lit to usher in the season and renew a tradition that has lasted more than a century. The president shared his wishes for the holiday season and the theme for this year's celebration.
Magic, wonder, and joy. 3 words that capture the essence of Christmas and the holidays.
The lighting comes just days after high winds blew the tree over, but the National Park Service got the tree back up and ready in time for the Thursday ceremony. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
On Thursday night football, the Dallas Cowboys rallied to beat the Seattle Seahawks 41-35 to kick off Week 13 of the NFL season. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL, Breaux Bridge, Lafayette. Broadcasting from the Matthew James Tax and Wealth Management Studios. Online at MatthewJames.com.
Your 24/7 news source, on air, online, and with the KPEL News app. Now the headlines from the KPEL News Center.
Good morning. I'm Tracy Wirtz with a look at news on this Friday, December 1st. A federal judge is giving the Louisiana legislature until January 30th to redraw the state's congressional maps to include a second majority-minority district. It's a 2-week extension from the previous deadline. Under Louisiana law, the earliest a special session can take place would be January 15th. New Orleans Representative Matthew Willard, who has been elected chair of the House Democratic Caucus for the 2024 legislative term, says the courts agree the current congressional map passed by the majority Republican legislature twice violates the Voting Rights Act. Judge Dick has scheduled a February 5th trial date to hear the merits of that current map. A pedestrian walking along the Evangeline Thruway frontage road last night near Home Depot was shot by another person who was walking. Police say the suspect confronted the victim, pulled a gun, shot him in the leg, and then took the man's cell phone. He ran off and has not been located. The victim is in stable condition at a local hospital. Anyone with information is asked to call Lafayette Police. A former owner of ZZ's Kitchen in Abbeville has been convicted on drug charges for using his restaurant to store and deal fentanyl. Investigators say 41-year-old Gabriel Hawthorne worked with Frederick Thornton and Andrea Mitchell to distribute heroin that was mixed with fentanyl in the area. You'll find further details about that case on our website or on the KPEL app. Acadia Parish Sheriff KP Gibson has identified the victim of the November 22nd shooting as 35-year-old Daryl Marcus Lewis of Church Point. Gibson says a warrant is still outstanding for the suspect, 30-year-old Quincy Muta, on second-degree murder and home invasion charges. Anyone with information is asked to call the Acadia Parish Sheriff's Department or Acadia Crime Stoppers at 337-789-TIPS. The Sonic Christmas Parade will roll through downtown Lafayette on Sunday afternoon. The parade starts at 1 o'clock and will be followed by a Christmas carnival. Several Christmas events are planned in Acadiana this weekend. You'll find a list on our website or on the KPEL app. 8 football teams in Acadiana are vying for a shot at the state championship tonight. Opelousas and Acadiana Highs play host to their semifinal challengers. Vermilion Catholic, STM, and Cecilia will be on the road. Turlings will face LCA on Lafayette Christian's territory here in Lafayette. Turlings will be looking for some payback after losing to LCA last year in the semifinals. We've got information about where you can listen to the games on our website and the KPEL app. That's a look at news. I'm Tracy Wirtz.
Your news update brought to you by Home Furniture Plus Bedding. Over 40,000 furniture and mattress choices in stock and ready for delivery. Home Furniture Plus Bedding. Welcome home.
Rain and thunderstorms will be moving off to the east this morning, but then later today we're talking about more showers and thunderstorms developing. Cloudy skies otherwise with temperatures in the mid-70s. Tonight, showers and thunderstorms likely, a low near 70. Saturday, showers likely with a high temperature near 72. Sunday, we'll get back to just some cloud cover with the rain diminishing. Temperatures for highs around 71. From the Storm Team 3 Weather Lab, I'm meteorologist Dave Baker on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL. Right now, traffic.
All right, looking at what's happening on the roadways right now. Remember, it is wet outside as it was raining all last night. Pinhook at Bendel, we have a crash there. That's Pinhook at Bendel. Also, still that crash, University at Lee is showing up on our screen. University at Lee and Lafayette. Other than that, roadways are looking pretty good right now. Please be safe out there. Your national anthem is brought to you by Hulco Printers, serving Acadiana since 1972. Buy local, shop local, support Acadiana.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last beaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets
Good morning and welcome into Acadiana's Morning News. That was Angelica Hell bringing in the national anthem this morning. Brandon Como and Tracy Wirtz here with you.
Good morning. And we had a few things rescheduled with all this rain that we had yesterday, some more expected today and even more tomorrow. But hopefully it'll all roll out of here, Brandon, on Sunday.
Yes.
Because at 1 o'clock, the Sonic Christmas Parade rolls through downtown Lafayette. Following that, too, and they just started this a couple of years ago, is the Christmas Carnival, which is really neat. I believe this just hit my brain.
Okay.
I believe they were supposed to at least do the lighting of the Christmas tree tonight.
They were, and then the weather changed those plans
Okay.
as we talked about, and so that was going to be a really cool event with concert and all that, but weather today is just supposed to be nasty throughout. So.
Yeah. So anyway, hopefully it's all out of here Sunday, and I believe that the forecast is calling for rains to diminish either tomorrow evening or early. It should be gone.
Thank goodness.
So Santa can come to town.
Yes, we welcome you, Santa.
And
Welcome.
officially, quote unquote, kick off the holiday season. Speaking of, let the power shopping begin. Home Furniture's holiday savings start now. I was thinking as I looked at some of the sales they've got going on, maybe you have family coming to town and they're going to stay with you, and you're looking at the beds in the rooms and you're like, oh my gosh, I actually have to have somebody sleep in here. More importantly, that mattress. They're going to hate me when they leave. Well, they have a sale going on right now. You can get a brand new queen mattress as low as $295, a reclining sofa, sale priced at $798. How about a 7-piece dining set? Just $995. New items are arriving daily, so make your list, check it twice. Home Furniture has it all at amazing prices. Go by, check it out. Make sure that your home is ready for the holidays, and now's the time to do it. Plus, you get these extra savings. Special financing of up to 60 months with no money down. They offer next-day delivery or free in-store pickup. So let the shopping fun begin. Go in, dream, and don't just dream. Get you some new furniture for the holidays. Holiday savings start now at Home Furniture Plus Bedding. See store for details.
KPEL News Time is 7:17. Firearms Friday up next.
Implicit bias. We like it because, well, we like it. We take pride in Catholic conservative guy stuff. So this Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon, grab a weekly whiskey and see if your implicit bias aligns with ours. Implicit bias. Saturdays, 10 a.m. News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
Well, dancing into the studio this morning is our Firearms Friday gentlemen. We've got Justin Richard and we've got Caleb Morse here. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning. Good morning. I want you to know that I'm going to do that in the future. I will dance into this.
Oh, I want to see that.
You see like a little pirouette as I come through the door.
Yes.
He'll do it too.
I believe it.
By the way, I love how I'm looking at both of you. One of you is dressed for the holiday season. The other is dressed for Louisiana season.
Yeah, pretty much.
I walked out of my door disappointed. I was like all excited to wear my vest. And it's like, wait a minute, it's 64 and muggy. And it's like,
You were like Tracy this morning who walked out and was like, oh, man.
I don't think I expected it to be cold, right?
Yeah.
But I thought, is it August 29th? Like,
Yes.
I don't know what's going on here. That's just sticky and gross.
I want you to know I was prepared for it because yesterday I wore the flannel and everything else. It was great. And then today I walked out and I went, nope.
I have done that. I've gone back in the house and changed and thought, no, not doing it. Not doing it.
Well, me and Caleb I'm actually a little bit more warmly, not warmly dressed. Actually,
you're wearing your
dressed
short
for
pants.
warm. Yeah, dressed for warmer weather than Caleb is. But anyway, man, our crazy weather. So, all right, let's go ahead and talk about a couple of things this morning. And we've got Acadiana's gunsmith in here, Justin, as we were just mentioning him. So, Justin, where do you want to start first with? You want to start with registering, or you want to start with?
Let's go with that one.
Right.
And I believe it's a subject that we've tackled here before, but we get the calls so often that it bears repeating.
Okay.
Example, somebody calls and says, hey, I inherited this gun, or I bought this gun. I want to have it registered under my name. Well, there is no registration in the state of Louisiana. There is no database where John Smith at 123 Easy Street owns this make, model, serial caliber, blah, blah, blah. And there's good reason for that. We as Americans tend to appreciate our privacy. We've talked in the past before about how some of these concealed carry permit databases get leaked. So registration, a database of firearms generally is always what leads to confiscation. So with that in mind, you have options. If you want Look, ultimately, it's your responsibility when transferring a firearm to make sure the person who's receiving it is not a felon, someone who can legally own firearms. So there's a few options. We can go to Google, print out a bill of sale, and this is just between private individuals.
Right.
I so-and-so hereby certified transfer this firearm with this serial number to this person on this date. You don't even really have to have it notarized. It's really just a paper trail.
Yeah, it's a check off the box.
CYA, in other words.
Yeah.
That way, if the gun ever gets recovered, you have some. If it ever gets stolen, then subsequently recovered, then you have again a paper trail that this was the process.
Yeah.
2, if you're unsure about the individual, if it's someone you don't know, you can actually go into an FFL dealer like us. We'll take the gun into our inventory, and the only way it's coming out of that inventory is via 4473 background check form. So if Brandon wants to sell Tracy a gun, they can both come to the shop. We receive the gun from Brandon. Tracy does a background check. Assuming she passes, she can take possession of the gun. We charge a little fee for it, and you two can discuss who's going to pay that fee. But again, it's just more of a legitimate way.
Yeah.
When people come in and fill out that 4473, they think that they're registering the firearm. That's not the case. It's just a background check to determine your legal status, if you're legally able to own a firearm.
Yeah, and that paperwork stays with us. It sits with us. When we actually did this for a customer on Monday, they came in and they were an officer was giving a firearm to another officer that was retiring. And upon their retirement, they came in. They said, "Look, we want to make sure this is all done. We want to make sure everything's good. We know he's going to pass the background check, but we want a paper trail. That way, everything is kosher."
Makes sense.
So we took it in, did the background check just as Justin said, and within 10 minutes, they were happy and they walked away, not skipping, but jovially.
Or not dancing either. But I think, and I'm glad you guys are pointing this out, because doing it that most official way, going through a gun shop like your own, would ensure the safest transfer, but also helps to dispel any myths that people may have of thinking, okay, well, maybe we should do this amongst ourselves or between ourselves as opposed to bringing it to a gun shop, because then it's going to be registered. And that's what you guys are saying. No, don't believe that.
Yeah, because whenever when you fill out the 4473, let's say I'm not the rustic, right? Let's say Justin's at the shop he's working, and I come in and I want to purchase a firearm. When I fill out that 4473 form, when we call in or electronically do that background check, all they know is that Caleb Morris was interested in purchasing a handgun, long gun, or other.
Yeah.
That's all they know. They don't know the serial number. They don't know anything else. And then you get a proceed, delayed, or denied. And that's it. That paperwork then stays at that place of business indefinitely. So until we close our doors, that paper trail sits right there at that business.
That information is only available to officials during official law enforcement investigations. So John Smith at 123 Easy Street, who owns this gun with make, model, serial, caliber, that information stays with us and goes nowhere unless an active law enforcement investigation has taken place.
Which means like they have a warrant against them or something?
Well, if the gun gets stolen, they'll do a trace. You know, they'll call the manufacturer. Manufacturer says, go to this distributor. Distributor says, go to this dealer. And then the dealer says, I have this 4473 with this guy's name, number, address, make, model, serial, caliber. So,
and we are very particular about how we do it. Like even if, let's say, Officer Smith comes in and he's like, look, hey, I want to get a copy of this 4473. Okay, well, I need that on an official agency letterhead. I need your request on an agency letterhead signed by an official, captain or above.
Right.
And then we retain that copy because we don't hand over anyone's information. Even like we've had individuals come in, their firearm was stolen for whatever reason, right? This last one, most recently, someone broke into his house and stole a rifle from him. We don't email that to you. We don't just give it to anybody. He had to come in, we get a copy of his driver's license, and then on his ID, the address on his ID and when he purchased it were two different locations. So he had to confirm the prior location, and then we give him a copy of his receipt because we believe in your individual privacy.
Let me ask you something. This week, I don't remember which day, but was the anniversary of the signing of the Brady bill. Is that this all in line with that? Or is that what set up the
talking about the 1990s Brady bill?
Yeah.
That was the one that initially established the background check system.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just, there have been so many iterations of gun legislation that I'm always confused which does what.
That one's the one that initiated, and with it, the NRA is actually one of the big proponents that pushed the background checks because it was a compromise from what they wanted.
Right.
So
Okay. That's just fascinating to me.
All right. And moving on from registration, as we're talking about dispelling some myths, to talking about lubricating your gun.
So this is another issue that's quite common. A good friend of mine sent me a YouTube video about this Navy SEAL who is coming out with, I think they call it Tier 1, Tier 3 products, just a new form of lubrication. And like I told him, I've been in the business since 2007. It's difficult to wow me with new products, especially when it comes to gun oils. Any good quality gun oil of reputable name is good for your farm, okay? They tout characteristics like, oh, to work in negative 40 degrees and to work in 120 degrees. Well, thankfully in South Louisiana, we don't see those types of temperatures.
Yeah.
Only twice since I've been gunsmithing have I actually tallied up how many guns that I've done in a year. And it's not all repairs and cleaning. The majority of it's repairs and cleanings. There's other things, sight install, scopes, mount bore sight, blah, blah. And on the two occasions that I've tallied up how many guns, it was about 450 per year. And I've been doing this long enough that I've kind of got a metric, a gauge on using what products and what application is appropriate. I like rim oil for cleaning. I find it to be a little too thin for lubricating purposes. I use gun scrubber, which is essentially a synthetic safe or a plastic safe brake cleaner. And then I come back with a Lucas Oil product or with this new line that we carry called Cajun Products. I keep them both on my bench. They're outstanding. They don't harden up like WD-40 does over time. Speaking of WD-40, the worst thing you can ever put in the firearm is WD-40. It's good for cleaning. It's good for temporary lubrication. But the moment you come back from your hunting trip, get rid of that WD-40 because it'll harden up over time. Wow. I mean, in reality, you could use motor oil. A lightweight motor oil would make a good firearms lubricant. I mean, look what it does inside of your engine. It keeps it cool.
Yeah.
It picks up, the
debris and everything
products.
else, contaminants.
You change your oil. It's black. It's all carbon. The difference is inside your engine is sealed. Well, the firearm is not. So the firearm's going to pick up dirt and sand and lint, especially for your concealed carry pistols, along with all the carbon and lead and copper fouling. So we need a good quality gun oil that not only lubricates but irrigates. It helps move a lot of that dirt and trash out of the way of the moving mechanisms. A dry gun is not a problem. A dirty gun is not a problem, but a dry and dirty gun is a problem, especially those semi-automatic shotguns. The majority of the guns that I clean are shotguns, and I couldn't understand why these duck guns come in and are just absolutely atrocious. Now I do because I started duck hunting. So those, more than anything, require a good lubrication. Grease, to be honest with you, grease is probably the best lubrication you can put on any machine, period. The problem with grease is it grabs and holds on to all those contaminants, and what you end up with is an abrasive paste inside your action. So any good quality name brand gun oil is fine.
So what do you use?
I like Lucas Oil products. I've been using their oil stabilizers and their fuel injector cleaners in all of my engines, anywhere from weed eaters to chainsaws up to side-by-sides, four-wheelers, and your everyday vehicle. But I do keep that Cajun gun products. I like their grease, especially for suppressors. We use it as an anti-seize mechanism on the threads. But their oil is an excellent oil. Personally, on my guns, in my bag, my range bag, and my hunting gear, I keep Lucas gun oil product.
And I assume you can find that at the Rust Renegade?
Yes, indeed. And the thing is, it's just doing proper maintenance. Most of the firearms that come in for repair have been neglected. Because if you maintain your items, if you clean them, lubricate them regularly, and just even do a basic wipe down, they're going to function properly. That way you're good for the season. At the end of the year, bring them in and let us do a deep cleaning. We had a gentleman bring in a Beretta a few weeks ago. He was like, look, I've owned this shotgun for 15 years, and it has never been truly cleaned. And when he picked it up yesterday, he's like, man, it looks like it came out of the box. He couldn't believe it. We're like, well, this is why we do what we do. Proper maintenance is a big thing.
Yeah, you've talked about that several times before.
And it's just like in your vehicle. You change the oil, you change your brakes, everything else. You have to do that with a firearm as well. Have to.
But you said was it last week we talked? You don't have to do it every time.
Yeah, not every time. You don't have to go down, break it down, and do it every time you do it. Uncle Sam taught me when I was in the Army. It was if you look at a firearm too long, clean it. And that is not the case.
So when you say regularly, as we close down the segment, I know that may be a subjective term depending on how much you use the gun.
I would say realistically, if it's your concealed carry pistol, a basic wipe down every week.
Okay.
Not take it apart and clean it, but a wipe down every week because it's going to build up lint and everything else like Justin was saying. Other firearms that you use on a regular basis, you can do that realistically probably once a quarter.
Okay.
So
Cool.
Good guidelines to go by.
good to know.
Yeah. All right, fellas. Thank y'all so much. Very much appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
appreciate y'all. Enjoy the warm weekend.
Yeah, wet, warm. Yeah.
KPEL News Time, 7:33. News Talk 96.5 KPEL, broadcasting from the Matthew James Tax and Wealth Management Studios. Find out more about how they can help you at MatthewJames.com.
Your 24/7 news source, on air, online, and with the KPEL News app. Now the headlines from the KPEL News Center.
Good morning. I'm Tracy Wirtz with a look at news on this Friday, December 1st. A federal judge is giving the Louisiana legislature until January 30th to redraw the state's congressional maps to include a second majority-minority district. It's a 2-week extension from the previous deadline. Under Louisiana law, the earliest a special session can take place would be January 15th. New Orleans Representative Matthew Willard, who has been elected chair of the House Democratic Caucus for the 2024 legislative term, says the courts agree the current congressional map passed by the majority Republican legislature twice violates the Voting Rights Act. Judge Dick has scheduled a February 5th trial date to hear the merits of that current map. A pedestrian walking along the Evangeline Thruway frontage road last night near Home Depot was shot by another person who was walking. Police say the suspect confronted the victim, pulled a gun, shot him in the leg, and then took the man's cell phone. He ran off and has not been located. The victim is in stable condition at a local hospital. Anyone with information is asked to call Lafayette Police. A former owner of ZZ's Kitchen in Abbeville has been convicted on drug charges for using his restaurant to store and deal fentanyl. Investigators say 41-year-old Gabriel Hawthorne worked with Frederick Thornton and Andrea Mitchell to distribute heroin that was mixed with fentanyl in the area. You'll find further details about that case on our website or on the KPEL app. Acadia Parish Sheriff KP Gibson has identified the victim of the November 22nd shooting as 35-year-old Daryl Marcus Lewis of Church Point. Gibson says a warrant is still outstanding for the suspect, 30-year-old Quincy Muta, on second-degree murder and home invasion charges. Anyone with information is asked to call the Acadia Parish Sheriff's Department or Acadia Crime Stoppers at 337-789-TIPS. A retired state Supreme Court justice is expected to hand down his ruling today regarding a lawsuit filed by Caddo Parish Sheriff candidate John Nicholson, who lost the election. The original runoff numbers and recount of the ballots declared Henry Whitehorn the winner by 1 vote. The Sonic Christmas Parade will roll through downtown Lafayette on Sunday afternoon. The parade starts at 1 o'clock and will be followed by a Christmas carnival. Several Christmas events are planned in Acadiana this weekend. You'll find a list on our website or on the KPEL app. A new Boys and Girls Club is in the works for Crowley. It would be the first in Acadia Parish, and organizers are working with business and community leaders to reach their fundraising goal. Work to establish the club could begin at the beginning of the year. 8 football teams in Acadiana are vying for a shot at the state championship tonight. Opelousas and Acadiana Highs play host to their semifinal challengers. Vermilion Catholic, STM, and Cecilia will be on the road. Turlings will face LCA on Lafayette Christian's territory here in Lafayette. Turlings will be looking for some payback after losing to LCA last year in the semifinals. We've got information about where you can listen to the games on our website and the KPEL app. That's a look at news. I'm Tracy Wirtz.
Your news update is brought to you by Home Furniture Plus Bedding. They have over 40,000 furniture and mattress choices in stock. Take a look at homefern.com.
Rain and thunderstorms will be moving off to the east this morning, but then later today we're talking about more showers and thunderstorms developing. Cloudy skies otherwise with temperatures in the mid-70s. Tonight, showers and thunderstorms likely, a low near 70. Saturday, showers likely with a high temperature near 72. Sunday, we'll get back to just some cloud cover with the rain diminishing. Temperatures for highs around 71. From the Storm Team 3 Weather Lab, I'm meteorologist Dave Baker on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
The holiday season is right around the corner. Give the gift that's hard to wrap but easy to give. Give them a steal. Visit your local Steel dealer or go to steelusa.com/gift guide.
News Talk 96.5, KPEL. Right now, traffic.
And right now, looking at what's happening on the roadways, we got quite a bit going on. School zones are in effect right now, so be mindful of them. We've also got a crash, Kali Saloom at Long Plantation Road. That's Kali Saloom at Long Plantation Road. Also, we've got a crash, Evangeline Thruway at 15th Avenue. That's Evangeline Thruway at 15th Avenue. There are injuries involved in that one. Other than that, roadways are looking good right now.
I need love, love to ease my mind. I need to find someone to call mine, but Mama said you can't hurry love. Oh, you just have to wait. She said love don't come easy. It's a game of give and take. You can't hurry love. No, you just have to wait. You gotta trust. Give it time, no matter how.
All right, KPEL News Time is 7:41, 67 degrees, mostly cloudy conditions. Perfect football weather today.
Yeah, well, not maybe.
Maybe. Look, I'll say this again. There's nothing more fun playing football in the rain and whatever, but I just hope it doesn't lightning a bunch tonight because those lightning delays are brutal for everyone involved.
Yeah,
Whether it's,
yeah.
doing a broadcast, whether it's the fans that have to sit out there in that another 30 minutes and then another 30 and then all
fair.
that. Sometimes I've had, those games where they don't end until like midnight because
Right.
of these lightning delays. All that being the case, though, you've got 8 Acadiana area teams that are playing tonight in the semifinals, which is phenomenal to have that many teams still alive. You've got 3 teams just from the Lafayette area. Well, no, 4 teams from the Lafayette area. You've got Acadiana High as they're going to be traveling to Edna Carr.
Right.
You've got LCA, Lafayette Christian Academy, and Turlings. They'll be playing that game at LCA. You got St. Thomas More hosting Archbishop Shaw. You've got Vermilion Catholic hosting Riverside. That should be a fantastic game. So that's 5 teams right there. You've got Cecilia hosting Northwest. That's 2 more. And then your 8th team, you've got Opelousas is going to be playing tonight as well. So no shortage of teams to root for in our area tonight, Tracy. And you win tonight and you go to the Dome next week.
Right.
That's what it comes down to.
And so it's a big deal.
Yes, absolutely.
I like the fact that there were, 3 teams that are going to be home tonight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no,
is it 2 or 3? Well, I mean, you have
LCA is one that covers 2 teams. STM is going to be home. Vermilion Catholic is going to be home. So that's 4 of your teams right there.
4, yeah, okay.
Cecilia is going to be home. That's 5. Northwest is traveling to Cecilia.
Oh, yeah, I forgot I have the list. Right here.
Yeah, there you go.
In my hot
I'm
little
doing it
hand.
off of memory, but
Yeah, I know. Okay, so according to what I saw on our
Okay.
website,
Yeah.
and I might have missed it.
Okay.
Let's see. Hang on. Opelousas and Acadiana play host.
Wait, no, they travel.
Oh, well, then the news is wrong.
So Opelousas and Acadiana travel. And then
sorry,
I
guys.
think everybody else hosts. Yeah.
Okay, well, then
Because see, Acadiana.
somebody got it wrong.
Because see,
It's probably
when
me.
you're the higher
But-
seed, you get to host in the semis, and so Acadiana is playing in the car, who's the higher seed.
Now, see, okay, let's see. I got to look at this.
Look,
And then
there
go
are-
fuss somebody.
Tracy,
Okay, let's see.
To your point, I was reading something.
Okay,
last
yeah,
night.
you're right. It's back. It's backwards on mine.
It's okay. To your point.
Okay, I'll have to go fix the news, Brandon.
Okay. Well, the LHSA confuses everyone with their ever-changing playoff format.
Okay, yeah, I did this. So I apologize if you were driving down the road and screaming at the radio.
So that explains
I'm not-
the Vermilion Catholic email I just got.
What is it? They are, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be why. So I apologize. It is my fault. I should probably not do the sports stories. I really do my best, though, to try to read them and understand them, but it's very
It's an honest
confusing.
mistake, Tracy. It's okay.
Yeah, well, I shouldn't have made it. So I apologize, everybody. As soon as we take this break and fix, I'll fix it.
Okay. So anyway, so you've got most of the Acadiana teams hosting tonight, which is great for our area. you're going to have, I would expect, great turnouts. You okay?
No, I'm not, because I don't like it when I make mistakes like that. I mean, you know.
Well, Tracy, you're human. It's okay.
I know, but I don't like it because it's not fair. So I do apologize to all of you, and I will have that situation rectified here in a few minutes.
Okay, well, y'all don't worry. Tracy's going to get the situation rectified.
I will.
It'll be okay.
I will.
But let's not lose sight of the subject matter,
which is
all these Acadiana area teams getting to host and getting to be a part of this semifinal round. Which I was talking to Ian Ozan yesterday, and he said we're only behind the New Orleans area as far as how many teams coming out of an area are still alive. And that's a big deal. And you consider Baton Rouge normally has a ton of teams in this as well. We have some real powerhouses.
I'm just really excited that somebody beat John Curtis. Didn't they? Or did John Curtis beat somebody?
I got to go look at that.
I remember we had a discussion about John Curtis, and
Okay.
somebody was able to topple them.
Let's see here. Well, it was Catholic of Baton Rouge who's playing Rummel.
Okay.
So Catholic of Baton Rouge beat John Curtis last week, 38-35, and they are going to play Rummel. Catholic of Baton Rouge tonight. They're going to host Rummel.
Okay, because, here's the thing. I don't know John Curtis. I'm not even,
Yeah.
But when I was in high school many, many moons ago, they were a powerhouse.
Oh,
and
yeah.
you
They
just
still
didn't, well, they are.
Yeah.
But so how do they say that? When they talk about, I'm for the Raging Cajuns all the time, except when they take on so-and-so. Or
Yes.
I'm always going to pull for that whole thing. I'm pulling for anybody who's up against John Curtis.
I got you. So a brief story about John Curtis. So I graduated in 2004 from Northside High, and in 2005, the team, which we had a lot of young players when I graduated. The next year, all those players were older, and it also included Keelan Williams, who went on to play in the NFL.
Yeah.
They ended up going to the state championship and playing John Curtis in the state title game. It was tied at the half, and then John Curtis ended up winning in the second half.
Yeah, they were just, and I
great
always,
game.
when I heard John Curtis, I always thought like monster football players, like
Yes.
zombie type big monster football players.
It's-
And I know that's probably unfair, but that was the way it appeared to a 16, 17, 18-year-old,
And
at the
they
time.
they do have players with good strength and size, but really it's more about the technique and the system. They run that triple option offense, which is so hard to stop.
So you totally lost me. You're
I
talking
know.
to good people out there who know exactly what you're talking about.
And look, you just compare it to Acadiana. Acadiana, where it runs that veer machine offense, teams have a hard time with it, especially when they don't see it often. But when we went to the restaurant after the game, obviously a little down, but still happy that we had made it to the dome. We went as a family and with some friends. We had a big old table, and we had some John Curtis fans that were in the restaurant, and they came to us and said, "Hey, we want to tell you guys, man, we really respect y'all. We love the fight that y'all gave us, because at that time John Curtis was really at their height, and said, hey, look, we really respect y'all. Just want to let y'all know all the drinks y'all have, it's all on us."
Well,
And they
maybe I
just
don't
picked it up.
dislike them as much anymore.
And I was like, okay. I was like, no, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And so they bought all of our drinks, even though they were mostly, they were all Cokes and stuff like that.
Hey.
But they took care of that, and that was a nice chunk of the bill. And I was like, okay, well, I got a newfound respect for John Curtis.
All right, so maybe I won't talk so bad about them anymore.
All right, KPEL News Time is coming up on 7:50. Again, high school football. Let me break it down. So tonight, right here, you're going to have the Turlings LCA broadcast. That one is going to be done by the Turlings crew, which is Kavan Bordelon and Scott Brazda. Over on our sibling station, our sister station, Classic Rock 105.1, you're going to have the Turlings LCA broadcast, but from the, not LCA point of view, but from the crew that's been covering LCA all year, which is myself and Ian Ozan. Then on 103.3 The Goat, you're going to have the Cecilia Northwest game, and that's going to be done by the one, the only Mike. They call him the Bandit Bernard. So we've got you covered here at Town Square Media. The biggest games happening tonight on our family of networks. KPEL News Time, 7:50.
The loudest voices on the biggest issues.
We're listening to your concerns, and that's why it's so important for us to say that we hear you.
News Talk 96.5, KPEL. Depend on it.
KPEL News Time is coming up on 7:54, and want to remind you about a great cause that's going on right now, and we're honored to be partnered up with it. Rosa's Angels, Robin McMillan of McMillan's Pub heads this up, and really what she does is she gathers lists from kids all across our area who are in need, whether they are foster children, whether they are children that have been homeless, children that have different needs all across our area. She gathers Christmas wish lists for them, and you have donation points that are set up where you can donate toys, whether you want to do it here at Town Square Media on Bertrand Drive, or you want to do it at the two early childhood development Fishers locations.
Yeah.
Also, you've got some other locations as well that are a part of this, like Rise Physical Therapy and Tipsy Cajun on Ridge Road in Dusson. But if you also want to go ahead and essentially adopt a kid's wish list, you can go to the website and you click on the button that says Rosa's Angels. And when you get there, it'll give you the contact information where you can contact her and get a hold of one of these wish lists.
Yeah, and the children that benefit from these, I mean, you're talking about 1,000 children, and it's children in the foster care system who are clients of CASA, which is court-appointed special advocates, the Boys and Girls Club children. It may be the homeless population of children that is registered at Lafayette Parish Schools. She does accept 2 applications from the public, but she has really focused on those children who she knows, she and her organization know, are not going to have a Christmas if they don't step up and do something.
So there you go. All you got to do is go click on the button Rosa's Angels and check that out. Make sure if you want to donate, you can do that. If you want to adopt a kid's Christmas wish list, you can do that as well. Anything you do that'll benefit the children here in Acadiana is very, very, very much appreciated.
Right.
All right, as we get ready to close down the 7 o'clock hour, we've got your Fox Biz Report on the way. And by the way, Tracy, Eddie from Scott says, tell Tracy to stop tripping. She's always great.
Well, you're very, very kind, and I certainly appreciate that. We all beat ourselves up when we make a mistake.
Absolutely. KPEL News Time is coming up on 7:56.
Bikers Against Child Abuse empowers children to not feel afraid of the world in which they live. For more information, visit BACAworld.org. Our helpline is 866-885-9474. BACA, breaking the chains of abuse.
The Fox Business Report, brought to you by Paul's Jewelry, Acadiana's trusted family jeweler for over 65 years.
I'm Stuart Varney, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Tesla shares are lower after a milestone for its Cybertrucks, which were delivered to their first customers yesterday. Pfizer stock falling more than 3% after a setback in its push to grab a slice of the booming weight loss drug market, currently worth about $10 billion. Pfizer saying it will not move to phase 3 trial of a weight loss drug as a twice-daily version after some patients had trouble tolerating it in a clinical study. It does still plan to release the phase 2 trial data on a once-a-day version of the drug in the first half of next year. And some rival entertainment giants are trying to team up, according to the Wall Street Journal, citing sources. Apple and Paramount Global have discussed bundling their streaming services at a discount. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Lillian Wu, invested in you.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL, Breaux Bridge, Lafayette. Broadcasting from the Matthew James Tax and Wealth Management Studios, online at MatthewJames.com.
Gaza is a war zone again. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. After a week-long ceasefire, ended.
Just about an hour ago, we had 2 Hamas rockets coming from the Gaza Strip, hitting overhead this town. Luckily, the Iron Dome defenses of Israel knocked them out of the sky.
Fox's Greg Palcott near the Gaza border.
We've been seeing Israeli airstrikes here in northern Gaza, Israeli artillery. Perhaps most significant, we've been hearing a lot of automatic gunfire.
As talks continue in Qatar, trying to put a ceasefire back in place. Now, Israeli government spokesman Eylon Levy says of the 110 hostages set free,
Hamas drugged our children and branded them like cattle with burns from motorcycle exhaust pipes in order to identify them in case they tried to escape.
Now, Israel says Hamas is still holding 137 hostages. George Santos may soon be the 6th congressman ever kicked out of the House. He just told Fox it appears there are enough votes today.
So I'll be the first person to get expelled from Congress without a conviction or without committing treason. And it sets dangerous new precedent for the future.
The Republican who lied to New York voters about his past has been indicted for campaign finance fraud. And a House ethics probe found Santos spent money on himself, but he says he can't publicly respond to that.
To incriminate myself, to hurt my chances on my criminal case.
They sparred over COVID and crime, immigration, and education. 2 governors in a red state, blue state debate on Fox.
He thinks Biden and Harris have done a great job. He thinks the economy is working because of their policies for Americans, and they are not. And so what California represents is the Biden-Harris agenda on steroids.
That's Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who's running for president, going toe-to-toe with California Governor Gavin Newsom on Fox's Hannity last night.
I will take Joe Biden at 100 versus Ron DeSantis any day of the week at any age.
America's listening to Fox News.
Between global jihad, China, Russia, and our southern border, we are in for a long and protracted battle. You need to prepare for the worst. Protect your home, protect your family, and protect your investments. It's time to reach out to the Oxford Gold Group. They make it simple for whether you are buying more gold, diversifying your 401k, or buying gold for the first time. Call 833-995-GOLD or visit jessekellygold.com. That's jessekellygold.com.
Paid actor portrayal.
Life can be so unpredictable. After losing my dad, it made me think about my family if something were to happen to me. I had heard about life insurance through Ethos and how easy it was to get coverage. They were right. In 10 minutes, I was covered. And boom, family protected.
Ethos fast and easy online term life insurance up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com.
A UN climate change conference is underway in Dubai, where there is a plan to reimburse developing countries for climate change-related disasters or losses. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is there and says what's happening in the world is affecting crops and food supply.
Behind these statistics on food security, real people. The toddler whose physical and mental development is stunted by chronic malnutrition, denied her right to learn and grow.
Now, those talks as we close out a globally warmed year.
The UN Weather Agency says 2023 is all but certain to be the hottest year on record. The World Meteorological Organization telling officials at the UN Climate Change Conference in Dubai that the average temperature for this year is up some 2.5 degrees Fahrenheit. That's just 1/10 of a degree under a target limit for the end of the century established by the Paris Climate Accords in 2015. The WMO Secretary General also warning of worrying trends that suggest increasing floods, wildfires, and heat waves in the future. John Saucier, Fox News.
A federal judge has thrown a wrench into Montana's plan to ban TikTok next year over Chinese-related security concerns. The judge has ruled that oversteps the state's authority and infringes on TikTok users' constitutional rights. It is day 2 of a manhunt in Philadelphia for a prisoner who escaped. Gino Hagen-Cotter walked away from work detail at an orchard in Philadelphia.
According to local reports, the inmate was being supervised by one correctional officer at the time. According to 6ABC, he asked to use the bathroom sometime before noon on Thursday and just never returned.
That's Fox's Alexandria Hoff. Hagen-Cotter was serving time for theft and burglary. On Wall Street, stock futures are down modestly. The day after the Dow surged up 520 points to a new high for the year. And on Thursday Night Football, the Dallas Cowboys beat the Seattle Seahawks 41-35. I'm Dave Anthony, and this is Fox News.
Your 24/7 news source, on air, online, and with the KPEL News app. Now the headlines from the KPEL News Center.
Good morning. I'm Tracy Wirtz with a look at news on this Friday, December 1st. A federal judge is giving the Louisiana legislature until January 30th to redraw the state's congressional maps to include a second majority-minority district. It's a 2-week extension from the previous deadline. Under Louisiana law, the earliest a special session can take place would be January 15th. New Orleans Representative Matthew Willard, who has been elected chair of the House Democratic Caucus for the 2024 legislative term, says the courts agree the current congressional map passed by the majority Republican legislature twice violates the Voting Rights Act. Judge Dick has scheduled a February 5th trial date to hear the merits of that current map. A pedestrian walking along the Evangeline Thruway frontage road last night near Home Depot was shot by another person who was walking. Police say the suspect confronted the victim, pulled a gun, shot him in the leg, and then took the man's cell phone. He ran off and has not been located. The victim is in stable condition at a local hospital. Anyone with information is asked to call Lafayette Police. A former owner of ZZ's Kitchen in Abbeville has been convicted on drug charges for using his restaurant to store and deal fentanyl. Investigators say 41-year-old Gabriel Hawthorne worked with Frederick Thornton and Andrea Mitchell to distribute heroin that was mixed with fentanyl in the area. You'll find further details about that case on our website or on the KPEL app. Acadia Parish Sheriff K.P. Gibson has identified the victim of the November 22nd shooting as 35-year-old Daryl Marcus Lewis of Church Point. Gibson says a warrant is still outstanding for the suspect, 30-year-old Quincy Mutah, on second-degree murder and home invasion charges. Anyone with information is asked to call the Acadia Parish Sheriff's Department or Acadia Crime Stoppers at 337-789-TIPS. A retired state Supreme Court justice is expected to hand down his ruling today regarding a lawsuit filed by Caddo Parish Sheriff candidate John Nicholson, who lost the election. The original runoff numbers and recount of the ballots declared Henry Whitehorn the winner by 1 vote. The Sonic Christmas Parade will roll through downtown Lafayette on Sunday afternoon. The parade starts at 1 o'clock and will be followed by a Christmas carnival. Several Christmas events are planned in Acadiana this weekend. You'll find a list on our website or on the KPEL app. A new Boys and Girls Club is in the works for Crowley. It would be the first in Acadia Parish, and organizers are working with business and community leaders to reach their fundraising goal. Work to establish the club could begin at the beginning of the year. 8 football teams in Acadiana are vying for a shot at the state championship tonight. Turlings will face LCA on Lafayette Christian's territory here in Lafayette. Turlings will be looking for some payback after losing to LCA last year in the semifinals. We've got information about where you can listen to the games on our website and the KPEL app. That's a look at news. I'm Tracy Wirtz.
Party at Rock and Bowl all weekend. Friday, Bag of Donuts. Saturday, Driven, a tribute to Rush. Sunday, Rusty Medier and Zydeco Crush. Tickets now at rockandbowl.com.
Rain and thunderstorms will be moving off to the east this morning, but then later today we're talking about more showers and thunderstorms developing. Cloudy skies otherwise with temperatures in the mid-70s. Tonight, showers and thunderstorms likely, a low near 70. Saturday, showers likely with a high temperature near 72. Sunday, we'll get back to just some cloud cover with the rain diminishing. Temperatures for highs around 71. From the Storm Team 3 Weather Lab, I'm meteorologist Dave Baker on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL. Right now, traffic.
All right, so traffic is, as Tracy would say, a hot mess right now. Boy, where do I begin? All right, so first let's go on to I-49 as the light in front of Baker Hughes is completely black, no blinking light. So the light is completely out in that area. Also, we've got one of our KPEL listeners letting us know about the light at Collie Saloon and Pinhook is blinking red in all directions. Also, and that's backed up traffic in all directions there. Also, you've got a stalled vehicle, West Simcoe at St. John in Lafayette. That's West Simcoe at St. John Street. We've got a crash, Collie Saloon at Ambassador Caffrey. That's Collie Saloon at Ambassador. We've also got a crash, Broadmoor Boulevard at Robley. That's Broadmoor at Robley. We've got another crash, Collie Saloon at Long Plantation Road. That's Collie Saloon at Long Plantation Road. And finally, we have a crash with injuries, Evangeline Thruway at 15th in Lafayette. That's Evangeline Thruway at 15th in Lafayette. Please be safe out there.
Your first order.
Good morning and welcome into Acadiana's Morning News. Hour number 3, Brandon Como and Tracy Wertz here with you.
Good morning. Very muggy and warm to my surprise as I stepped out today.
Yeah. Nasty, nasty weather today. Well, so, let's talk about when it feels like Christmas time in Acadiana. And, I'm prepared for this conversation because today's weather does not feel like Christmas time weather.
No, absolutely not. 100%. But what's interesting is that, was it, I'm trying to think. I think it was yesterday afternoon. It was still cool.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it was raining and I was going to the store and I thought, this is Christmas in South Louisiana.
Yes, absolutely.
I know we don't like the rain.
Right.
But it's liquid snow. And I drove. That's exactly what went through my mind was, okay, this feels like Christmas, even though it's raining. Because the truth of the matter is that if it was snowing, not if it was white after, but if it was snowing, there would be clouds.
Yes, absolutely.
So,
that is a very positive way to look at the nasty weather that we had yesterday.
That's what, because
I like your positive thinking.
There's my Pollyanna showing.
But I have learned that. When you have your, when you think of Christmas, I'm sure many of you think of, snow, Christmas carols, gifts and all that such. And like I said, with the weather, I've just come to learn that, look, you get what you get during the Christmas season here. We have a lot of the other things and you look in this area and Tracy, we've talked about the many events that you have here. We have the many staples that you have. And so, we've asked the KPL listeners, when does it feel like Christmas in Acadiana for you? And some of the responses we've gotten have been very interesting.
Okay.
For some people, it's when they hear Christmas music for the first time. For some people, they've talked about some of their favorites, like Please Come Home for Christmas.
Right.
The Charles Brown classic. For some people.
Which we don't hear enough, by the way.
Well, we may have to hear it coming up. I've got it in the system. I may have to play it.
I am all over that. Some about those bells, the bell toll at the beginning.
Right. For some people, they prefer the more Louisiana version of Christmas music, such as Aaron Neville's Louisiana Christmas Day classic. But then also, when people talk about Christmas, when it's Christmas time to them, it's when those Christmas tree lots start popping up.
Yeah.
You talk about Pollard's, the Christmas trees there, which, of course, if you don't know their story, you talk about the Pollard family and Rivers Bend's Farm and Crossmore, North Carolina, providing homegrown Fraser fir Christmas trees to Lafayette, surrounding area for more than 30 years, which is a great tradition. For me, growing up and finally getting to cut my first Christmas tree, that was kind of like a rite of passage.
Yeah.
But for other people as well.
And now I just take mine out of the box.
And now you just take it out. And we do too. Well, we take it out of the attic now because it's.
Or as the case may be, the closet.
Yeah.
I told you I didn't even undecorate it.
Yes, us neither. And that's kind of what we're excited about this year is that we have it decorated. We have it up in the attic. Now it's just to be able to bring it down and set it up. So I'm hoping that works out this year. Also, holiday and foot traffic.
Yeah.
It picks up during this time of year. It can be a kind of negative, but at the same time, it lets you know Christmas time is here in Acadiana.
For me, it's not just the weather. It's also, and I think you mentioned lights, but there's certain houses that I know that are going to be lit for the holidays.
Right.
And when I see those, it makes me really happy.
Yeah.
I have a lot of neighbors that do all out decorations. I have one neighbor in particular that does such a beautiful job on her house. And I think that she calls in a crew to help her. But, the big wreaths, the garland, the red bows. She's got the Nutcracker soldiers on either side of the door. When I see that house completed, I've really settled into the holiday season. There's a lot that do such a beautiful job in my neighborhood, but when I see that particular house completely decorated, I know it's illegal to listen to the Christmas music in my car.
and it's just, you talk about lights, you talk about here in Lafayette, you've got Acadian Village.
Right.
And for many people, they told us that when you go see the lights at Acadian Village, that tells you it's Christmas time
without a doubt.
There's so many different things that people have talked about. But we'd love to hear from you, 232-1542. when does it feel like Christmas time for you here in our area? You shared yours, Tracy, and I mean, that's, people that do the traditional decorating of their house year after year, it's always cool. Now, does she do something? She does it different every year? Like, is it?
I think that there are elements of it that are different, but it all is kind of in that traditional Christmas theme. And what I mean by that is it's the wreaths with the red bows with the white lights. And for some people, that may not be what I call traditional Christmas.
That
but
brings
it's
up a great
traditional
point.
Christmases.
That brings up a great point. Okay, so do you prefer, because there's the two styles of Christmas lights, at least in my mind, the white Christmas lights or the, red, green, blue Christmas lights?
I don't know. I mean, I think I prefer white.
Me too.
But when I see the colored ones, it makes me just as happy. Makes me just as happy.
All right, we go to the phone lines right now. Again, we invite you to be a part of the conversation. When does it feel like Christmas time to you? All right, caller.
Yes, I'd like to chime in.
Yep, go ahead.
Sure.
Hello.
You're on the air.
Can you
yes,
hear
sir.
us?
Yes, talking about Christmas. I know a friend of mine. He since passed, probably about a year ago or 2 years ago. He had a studio, and he was an artist. And he painted a lot of stuff about the Chafla Basin, and some of his decor or painting or whatever you want to call it. He shows the basin, and he shows this guy with a backpack. It's Santa Claus coming in on his pirogue, and he's delivering gifts on Chafla Basin at different camps. When I see that, I have one of them in my room, my bedroom, and it makes me think of him and think of Christmas.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's a great story. Thank you so much for sharing.
When my kids get a little bit older, I can't wait to take them on one of those swamp tours on the Chafla that they do right now for Christmas.
Yeah, and we've got information about that, by the way, at our website. Kind of some non-traditional or things that are happening here you may not be aware of. Go check it out. I just think, riding around the Atchafalaya Basin with Santa in a boat, reading Night Before Christmas to you, or any, whatever Christmas story it is. How cool.
That is very cool. Now, I got to ask you, since we're talking Christmas now, Christmas specials. Is there a Christmas special that comes to your mind that is your favorite?
I loved the one, and I don't remember the name of it.
Okay.
It's one that was around, obviously in the probably 70s and 80s.
Okay.
They still play it. It's the one where the little elf wanted to be a dentist.
Santa Claus's. No, I know what you're talking about.
And there was the Island of Misfit Toys.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer?
Yeah, was that it?
Yeah,
I think it was Rudolph.
Yeah, it was.
I don't know why I didn't, put those two together. But that is probably my favorite one.
Yes.
When I was little, though, it was, and more than today, because you can stream everything, right? But it was definitely appointment TV. Like my mom, we had the TV guide, and we knew when they were coming on, and it was an event at our house when all of them came on. So we watched them all.
I loved, as we get ready to go back to the phone lines, I loved Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, but for some reason, I got the most excited when Frosty the Snowman.
That was another. They were, they all were just so fun.
Yeah. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. Caller, you're on Acadiana's Morning News. Go ahead.
Yeah, Brandon, this is Mr. Lewis again. I wanted to also chime in about the Chafla Basin used to be a town called Chaff.
Really?
Way back when, before Henderson was into play. And my grandmother, my wife's grandmother and grandfather, they owned a local store, and they would cater to commercial fishermen. And they had a big store there on the basin. And everybody shopped there, and they had dance. They had dance on Saturday night in some of the homes. And it was a little town before Henderson was. A lot of people don't know that, but they would celebrate, and they'd have 2 or 3 dances in homes, around Christmas time, and they'd celebrate the Christmas holidays and the New Year holidays. And
That is a very interesting fact that I don't think a lot of us knew. Mr. Lewis, thank you so much for calling back and sharing that with us.
Thank you. We really appreciate it. Let's continue to stay on the phone lines right now. Caller, you're on Acadiana's Morning News. Go ahead.
Hi.
Hello.
Hey, Can you hear us?
Yeah. Favorite Christmas special, A Christmas Carol with George C. Scott. Unbelievable actor.
Yes.
Perfect actor for that role.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a good one too. And you bring up a good point, because when Brandon says Christmas special, in my mind, I went to the animated things, those sorts of things. But A Christmas Carol, A Wonderful Life, The Christmas Story, all of those, I think, definitely fit into that Christmas special category. So thank you for reminding us about that.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day. Hey, Merry Christmas.
Bells will be ringing, the glad, glad news. Oh, what a Christmas to have the blues. My baby's gone, I have no friend to wish me greeting once again. Choirs will be singing Silent Night, Christmas Carol by candlelight. Please come home for Christmas. Please come home for Christmas.
I just want to let this play for a while.
Christmas by New Year's night. I
There
know I
you go.
sing badly, but let's sing it together, y'all. Friends and relations.
You don't want me singing at all.
Sins. Well, listen to me. It can't be
No,
much worse.
You sound like a classic crooner compared to me. I'm just saying.
Okay, y'all, as you can tell, people are like, please make her stop.
So please come home for Christmas from Charles Brown.
Love that
for you.
song.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about everything happening here in Lafayette. Now, unfortunately, we talked about the downtown Lafayette, the lighting of the tree concert that was supposed to happen tonight. Of course, the weather changing those plans, but we still have a lot of great Christmas events happening over this weekend.
And I knew it had only been a few years, but it's the 4th annual Merry and Bright Holiday series. That is what is happening downtown Lafayette, and the tree lighting was supposed to kick it off, but the rest of the activities should go on, because you have the next up is the Sonic Christmas Parade at 1:00 on Sunday afternoon. Of course, it will travel down Jefferson Street toward Johnston Street on its way to the Oil Center. But following that is the Christmas Carnival, which is just so fun. It's at Park International. We've talked a little bit about this. There's free admission. You can get in and do crafts. There will be entertainment. There's an educational reptile encounter. Touch a Truck with Lafayette Fire Department. The mounted police will be there. So it's really going to be a fun event for the kids. Now, you can purchase activity passes at the gate. And those activities are petting zoo, pony rides, fun jumps and slides, mobile arcade, photos with Santa and Mrs. Claus. And then, of course, they have ticketed activities where, you can get the kids some balloon art, have their faces painted, which is always fun. And something I would love to do, which is the cookie decorating.
Oh, yeah.
And food, of course, on site. So you could conceivably spend the whole afternoon in downtown Lafayette, downtown Lafayette. Then next weekend is Movies in the Park.
Nice.
That's fun. They will be showing, hang on, it just says an array. I don't see yet the schedule of which, yes, I'm sorry. Dr. Seuss's The Grinch.
Oh, there you go. Another classic.
Yeah.
Another classic.
So that's always fun. But there are a lot of things going on. You can pretty much go to our website and search Christmas. And I think there are so many things going on. You will find different events within each of those stories. It's fun to write about them too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. KPEL News Time is 8:30. Tracy's got a look at news coming up.
Celebrating 20 years of enlightening Acadiana. Moon Griffon, next on News Talk 96.5. KPEL, your 24/7 news source, on air, online, and with the KPEL News app. Now the headlines from the KPEL News Center.
Good morning. I'm Tracy Wirtz with a look at news on this Friday, December 1st. A federal judge is giving the Louisiana legislature until January 30th to redraw the state's congressional maps to include a second majority-minority district. It's a 2-week extension from the previous deadline. Under Louisiana law, the earliest a special session can take place would be January 15th. New Orleans Representative Matthew Willard, who has been elected chair of the House Democratic Caucus for the 2024 legislative term, says the courts agree the current congressional map passed by the majority Republican legislature twice violates the Voting Rights Act. Judge Dick has scheduled a February 5th trial date to hear the merits of that current map. A pedestrian walking along the Evangeline Thruway frontage road last night near Home Depot was shot by another person who was walking. Police say the suspect confronted the victim, pulled a gun, shot him in the leg, and then took the man's cell phone. He ran off and has not been located. The victim is in stable condition at a local hospital. Anyone with information is asked to call Lafayette Police. A former owner of ZZ's Kitchen in Abbeville has been convicted on drug charges for using his restaurant to store and deal fentanyl. Investigators say 41-year-old Gabriel Hawthorne worked with Frederick Thornton and Andrea Mitchell to distribute heroin that was mixed with fentanyl in the area. You'll find further details about that case on our website or on the KPEL app. Acadia Parish Sheriff KP Gibson has identified the victim of the November 22nd shooting as 35-year-old Daryl Marcus Lewis of Church Point. Gibson says a warrant is still outstanding for the suspect, 30-year-old Quincy Muta, on second-degree murder and home invasion charges. Anyone with information is asked to call the Acadia Parish Sheriff's Department or Acadia Crime Stoppers at 337-789-TIPS. A retired state Supreme Court justice is expected to hand down his ruling today regarding a lawsuit filed by Caddo Parish Sheriff candidate John Nicholson, who lost the election. The original runoff numbers and recount of the ballots declared Henry Whitehorn the winner by 1 vote. The Sonic Christmas Parade will roll through downtown Lafayette on Sunday afternoon. The parade starts at 1 o'clock and will be followed by a Christmas carnival. Several Christmas events are planned in Acadiana this weekend. You'll find a list on our website or on the KPEL app. A new Boys and Girls Club is in the works for Crowley. It would be the first in Acadia Parish, and organizers are working with business and community leaders to reach their fundraising goal. Work to establish the club could begin at the beginning of the year. 8 football teams in Acadiana are vying for a shot at the state championship tonight. Turlings will face LCA on Lafayette Christian's territory here in Lafayette. Turlings will be looking for some payback after losing to LCA last year in the semifinals. We've got information about where you can listen to the games on our website and the KPEL app. That's a look at news. I'm Tracy Wirtz.
Party at Rock and Bowl all weekend. Friday, Bag of Donuts. Saturday, Driven, a tribute to Rush. Sunday, Rusty Metier and Zydeco Crush. Tickets now at rockandbowl.com.
Rain and thunderstorms will be moving off to the east this morning, but then later today we're talking about more showers and thunderstorms developing. Cloudy skies otherwise with temperatures in the mid-70s. Tonight, showers and thunderstorms likely, a low near 70. Saturday, showers likely with a high temperature near 72. Sunday, we'll get back to just some cloud cover with the rain diminishing. Temperatures for highs around 71. From the Storm Team 3 Weather Lab, I'm meteorologist Dave Baker on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL. Right now, traffic.
Traffic is not looking great out there right now. We do have some crashes. We've got College Saloon at Ambassador Caffrey, Broadmoor Boulevard at Robley. Good news is, looks like we're getting some other things that are cleared up, but we do still have also that crash with injuries. Evangeline Thruway at 15th Street. That's the Evangeline Thruway at 15th Street. Just bottom line, it's wet, it's nasty out there. Please don't underestimate all of that and be careful when you get on the roads. News Talk 96.5 KPEL, broadcasting from the Matthew James Tax and Wealth Management Studios. Find out more about how they can help you at MatthewJames.com.
Two can make that dream so real. One can talk about being
KPEL News Time is 8:37. It is 67 degrees right now as we got more rain coming into the forecast as we continue throughout the day today. But some great news happening in Crowley right now. And Tracy, this is something that you can really speak to because this is something that you've been a part of and an instrumental part of. A new Boys and Girls Club opening in Crowley. Talk about the need there a little bit.
Well, there is definitely a need. And this effort started, I say 18 months ago, but it actually is more like 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about Crowley is that there's nothing for kids to do, really.
Right.
I mean, they have a Parks and Rec department, not, of course, to the level that Lafayette has.
Mm-hmm.
And the challenge in those smaller parishes or the surrounding parishes, geographically, they aren't smaller, is that the tax base isn't as high parish-wide and in each municipality. And it takes those dollars to fund those sorts of programs.
Yeah.
And they do a really good job with, baseball, softball, soccer. They really do.
Yeah.
But there's not a whole lot outside of that for children to do. And seeing the success of the Boys and Girls Clubs in Lafayette, there are two, in New Iberia. As a matter of fact, Mayor Freddie DeCourt just this year opened a second location of Boys and Girls Club in New Iberia. You have Opelousas, you have Abbeville. And again, so there are others right here in Acadiana. And we saw a presentation by Ryan Wheeler, the CEO, and some of the Boys and Girls Club team to our Rotary Club. And a few of us got together and said, we really need to do this. And let me tell you, it's not an easy lift.
Right.
From determining where it's going to be, finding the inappropriate building, and then, of course, the fundraising. Because they rely on, or they ask that the communities help do the standing up part, get the funds to get it open, because there has to be community buy-in. But once we started seeing the results of some of the programs that they have, we started talking to Boys and Girls Club alum who had gone there, who may have had a different path had they not had that opportunity. It was a no-brainer. And we were really excited. Yesterday, we took a picture with representatives from Cox Communications who made a significant donation, as have a lot of businesses, especially in the Crowley area. We still have a ways to go.
Yeah.
So if you're hearing my voice or you read the story, please don't think we're 100% there yet.
Right.
But we're so close, we feel confident that we're going to reach the goal and be able to open it in the fall of 2024. And I don't know, a lot of people hear Boys and Girls Club. They really don't understand what it offers, from teaching kids healthy lifestyles to immersing them in STEM activities that are fun. So they are exposed to that in a smaller atmosphere than maybe a larger class, to teaching them to be responsible citizens and what that means, recognizing them for the accomplishments that they have. One of the stories that the development director, Brian Ford, tells a lot of times is it's wonderful at schools that they recognize the straight A students, the honor roll students, those who read 1 million words, those who read books. A lot of the children that go to the Boys and Girls Clubs, and let me tell you, it's open to everybody, so it doesn't matter. There's no constraints. But they make sure that they recognize each of the achievements. Like, if a kid comes and says, I finished this book. Last week I might have read one page.
Yeah.
They celebrate those accomplishments so that they don't feel like they're constantly up against people who are, who
have better
really,
circumstances.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. And it's not, please don't misunderstand me. It's not about lowering the bar. It's not. It's about celebrating accomplishments. It's not just that they give them something for nothing.
Right.
If they catch, like one club, if they catch them doing something good, they have their own form of currency. And they'll say, oh, you did such a great job helping to clean up after snack.
Yeah.
this is at the Jackie Club. Here's a Jackie book. And they collect those, and then they have a little quote unquote store inside the facility where they can go and exchange it for little toys or different things that they have. But they're rewarded for that, and they understand the importance of recognition and having children be seen for the things that they do accomplish.
Yes, this is not a participation award kind of a thing. This is something that, man, all kids just grow up in different environments, and some kids have been dealt a harder lot in life than others. And for those kids, that's when an organization like Boys and Girls Club comes in to be able to help them and to be able to encourage them to continue to do good things, and then eventually they're going to do great things. And they grow up with that positive affirmation, and they start they have that desire to want to be able to do something great with their lives.
One of the local directors at one of the clubs, her name is Ebony, and her story, I have a lot of great stories, but hers is one of my favorites. She is now the director at the Jackie Club. She grew up in the Boys and Girls Club and tells the story. You know, she lived in a single parent home, and at the time that she was growing up, Boys and Girls Clubs would give them a little bus pass so they could ride the bus to the Boys and Girls Club for free. And she would get herself on the bus and get her, go to the club and then get back home. There was a little system where someone would meet her at the bus stop. She actually went to the Granbury Club, which is on the north side of town. And as she grew up and as she advanced, she went to college. Boys and Girls Club, she was chosen as a participant for the Keystone Conference, which is something having to do with that. And she got to ride in her first plane through the Boys and Girls Club. She worked her way up through the quote-unquote ranks at Boys and Girls Club, became a director, and did different things. Right. Left for a few years, moved away, and then came back and has restarted her journey with them in May, because she says, I want other children to know what they're capable of. Yeah. I want to take what I learned from the Boys and Girls Club. I want to give back to them. And that's one of the things she was doing. And she comes from a big family. She's the baby of the family. There are like 30 cousins. Yeah. She's the only one who went to college. Now, she said some of her nieces and nephews, that sort of thing, they are going to college, but she was the first and only one.
It's a big deal.
It is, because one of the things Boys and Girls Clubs does is expose them to the possibilities. Because if you ask a kid, what are you going to do after high school? Or what are you going to do? I'm going to go to college. Well, what does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean?
Some of them don't know what that means. So it's just a wonderful organization I can't say enough great things about, but I am excited about being part of this advisory council to hopefully get one in Crowley where something like that is desperately needed.
That's awesome. You can find out more information at the website, kpel965.com, or on your KPEL News app. KPEL News Time is coming up on 8:46.
You're listening to American Ground Radio's Morning Minute.
A new report out of New Orleans says 1,285 people who were charged with crimes didn't show up for their trial dates and didn't have their bond revoked by the district attorney.
And so if you are a liberal DA in favor of doing away with bail, then by not revoking bonds of felony defendants released on bond but did not show up in court, I guess that's one way to do away with bail, right? But doing away with bail has been attempted in several cities: New York, Philadelphia, San Francisco, Los Angeles. And the result is always the same: more violent crime. And with these crimes disproportionately impacting lower income neighborhoods the most, tell me again, why are these communities still electing Democrats into office?
If you don't enforce your laws, you don't have laws. If you don't enforce your bail, you don't have bail.
Return each weeknight with Louis R. Avalone and Stephen Parr from 9 to 10 p.m. on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
Rocking around the Christmas tree at the Christmas party hop. Mistletoe hung where you can see every couple tries to stop. Rocking around the Christmas tree, let the Christmas spirit ring.
Save
money on your printing needs. Call Cartridge World today and ask about their no-cost printer program, too. Cartridge World, 337-984-9000, cartridgeworldusa.com. All right, so I understand, Tracy, for our Cartridge World trivia, you want to ask me some Christmas music trivia this morning?
Actually, just Christmas trivia.
Christmas
There's a lot
trivia,
of it
okay.
out there, you know,
All
because
right.
I love Christmas and all.
Okay.
All right, so we talked about this off the air,
Okay.
but I'm going to ask you how many windows are on an Advent calendar. Now, remember, I told you it started today,
Yeah.
and what Advent is.
Well, I mean, it's like Lent. You were kind of
Yeah,
describing
no,
it.
that's kind of the philosophy behind
yeah.
it. But
Okay.
how many windows? If it starts today and
It would
ends
be-
on Christmas.
Oh, 25?
24, but close.
24, okay.
And I wanted to ask that question because
Okay.
for those of you who are listening on Wednesday, Aileen Bennett came in and she was so excited because she got her Advent calendar. She got to do it, very soon, and it's today. So she was posting it all over Facebook. I love that.
All right.
What is usually served for Christmas dinner? What main course?
Yeah, well, it depends what you're talking about. I mean, of course, you're in Louisiana. It's probably gumbo.
Well-
but I know it's not that answer. Boy, that's a good question.
Oh,
though.
really? I didn't see. I
You
would
think
have.
it's okay?
Yeah. Okay.
I mean,
think Thanksgiving.
I was thinking turkey.
Yes,
okay,
that's
so
it,
is
actually.
turkey. That's the first one that came to my mind. But okay,
Who is Santa Claus based on?
Kris Kringle. I mean, it's Old Saint Nick. Oh,
Yeah, St. Nicholas. That's
man,
right.
I think I was running on
ding yourself for
autopilot
that.
there
No,
on
that's
that one.
okay.
My gosh. Okay.
That's another name for him.
It is another name.
Okay, in 2011,
Yeah.
Mariah Carey released which Christmas song?
One of the best ones of all time. All I Want for Christmas Is You.
That's right. Go you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, which star is also known as the Christmas star? What is it called?
The Star of David? Oh, wait. No, I'm sorry.
Try again. It's okay. I'll give you a
Okay.
ding. Where was Jesus born?
Well, Bethlehem. The
Yes,
Star of Bethlehem.
that's right.
Okay,
there you
thank
go. You get a ding for that.
Thank you. Okay.
Let me see. See, this is just like trivia, useless trivia. I won't ask you, but because I don't know if you'd get it, you'd have to guess. The U.S. state that first recognized Christmas as an official holiday was Alabama.
Really?
Interesting.
Okay.
Yes, interesting piece of information. So go Alabama.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay, this one will be easy.
Okay. All right.
In the 12 days of Christmas, what gift did the true love give on the second day?
Oh, God.
On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a
I don't
partridge
know.
in a pear tree.
Yeah. On the
Oh,
second day
you
of
don't
Christmas.
remember? Two.
Turtle doves?
That's
All
right.
there we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Home Alone came back to me when he gave the 2 turtle doves to little Kevin's character. Yes.
That's awesome.
Okay.
I know this answer. I don't know if you
Okay.
will. We talked about it on Wednesday with Aileen.
Okay.
What wouldn't you find in a mincemeat pie?
What? Wait.
What wouldn't you find in mince pie?
Well, I mean, does it give a multiple choice on that one? No.
Vegetables,
Okay.
fruit, nuts, or meat?
So then you wouldn't find vegetables, right? No, you would find vegetables in the mincemeat pie.
In a mince pie,
A mince pie.
no
Okay.
meat.
No meat.
No
Okay.
meat. Yeah.
All right.
We talked about that the other day.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so this is a Christmas song. The answer is going to be a Christmas song.
Okay.
What do you think is the best-selling Christmas single of all time, and Bing Crosby sang it?
Not Baby It's Cold Outside.
No.
No, because I remember that controversy.
This was like, yeah.
Man.
I'm sorry these are so hard. I didn't think they would be.
God, he sings so much. I'm trying to think of, there's probably Jingle Bells?
No, White Christmas.
Oh, White Christmas.
Yeah, by Bing Crosby.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, you'll get this one. Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh is the opening line of which Christmas song? Dashing through the snow in a one-horse.
I'm just trying to think of the name.
Singing
Jingle
it in
Bells.
yes,
Yeah,
Jingle
Bells.
Bells.
Okay, Jingle Bells. All right.
You had to get
Okay,
all the
yeah.
way to
I had to get all the way to the Jingle
the
Bells part,
refrain. Yeah. Okay, just an interesting piece of
Okay.
knowledge for you. In Canada, letters addressed to Santa use the postal code H0H0H0. Ho, ho, ho.
Oh. Oh, Lord. Okay.
I think that's funny.
That is.
Okay. Ooh.
Okay.
Okay. This particular company made a recent appearance in Acadiana for special reasons. Which brand is known for creating the ad campaign featuring Santa in a red suit for the first time?
Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
Very
Love
good.
those
You get a
commercials.
ding there. Let's see. Another piece of trivia. You won't get this one because I wouldn't have.
Okay.
If you add up all the songs in the 12 Days of Christmas, it says you'll get 34. If you add up all the songs in the... Okay, that doesn't make any sense to me. Let's see. Okay, complete the name of this song. I saw blank kissing Santa Claus.
Mommy.
Yes, very good.
And that's it.
All right, we're done, huh? I'm sorry they were so difficult, Brandon.
Look, I'm focusing on the ones that I got correct.
Yeah.
I'm just sorry I went autopilot on a couple of them, but that's all right.
It's you know what? If you're in the Christmas spirit, ho, ho, ho. And thank you for joining us. Hopefully we made you smile. Have a great day and weekend. God bless.
The Fox Business Report is brought to you by Gulf Coast Bank, your local community bank. Whether your financial needs are for an individual, a business, or for the whole family, Gulf Coast Bank has the knowledge and products to serve you best. With 9 convenient locations throughout Acadiana, you're never far from a friendly Gulf Coast Bank associate.
I'm Elizabeth McDonald, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Investors are picking up shares of Paramount Global, up nearly 6% in after-hours trading, following a report that the media conglomerates discuss the possibility with Apple of bundling their streaming services at a discounted price. Pfizer stock is falling after a setback in its push to grab a slice of the booming weight loss drug market, currently worth about $10 billion. Pfizer saying it's not going to move to phase 3 trial of a weight loss drug as a twice-daily version. And the Wall Street Journal has news about a fast food favorite. The McDonald's burger is getting a revamp. Some of the modifications to all-beef patties that are cooked in smaller batches for a more uniform sear. More secret special sauce with lettuce, cheese, and pickles that will be what they say are fresher and meltier. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Lillian Wu. Invested.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's Zip.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL, Breaux Bridge, Lafayette. Broadcasting from the Matthew James Tax and Wealth Management Studios. Online at MatthewJames.com.
Fox News Alert. A former Supreme Court justice has died. I'm Dave Anthony. Sandra Day O'Connor was 93. She'd suffered complications related to advanced dementia and a respiratory illness. Chief Justice Roberts, in a statement, called her a daughter of the American Southwest and that Sandra Day O'Connor blazed an historic trail as our nation's first female justice. She was appointed to the court by President Reagan in 1981. She retired in 2006. George Santos could soon be an ex-congressman.
I believe that if it's God's will to keep me here, I will stay. And if it is his will for me to leave, I will leave, and I will do so graciously.
But Santos tells Fox ahead of a vote this hour it would set a bad precedent. All 5 others expelled from the House in the past were either Confederates or convicts. New York Republican has been indicted of campaign finance fraud for lying about his past, and Democratic Congressman Dan Goldman says Santos has got to go.
George Santos's lies were designed to defraud and deceive the voters in order for him to be elected.
The war is back on in Gaza after a week-long ceasefire, as Israel says Hamas is still holding 137 people hostage, and it has evidence Hamas murdered 3 Israeli hostages. And government spokesman Eylon Levy says the children Hamas set free had been drugged and branded in captivity.
Hamas treated our people worse than animals, and we will put Hamas down.
Montana's TikTok ban that was set to go into effect next year has been blocked by a federal judge who has ruled it infringes on users' rights.
Republicans, Democrats, and other Western governments have questioned China-controlled TikTok's content moderation, data security, and past spying, as more than half of U.S. states and the federal government have also banned TikTok on official devices.
That's Jeff Manasso. America's listening to Fox News.
Can you trust the government to protect you? We have political chaos, high inflation, global wars, no border protection, and our leadership telling you about pronouns in electric cars. It's time to take a hard look at protecting yourself and your family. It's time to call Oxford Gold Group. Whether you want to diversify against inflation or have gold on hand, you need to visit jessekellygold.com. Protect yourself with a visit to jessekellygold.com. That's jessekellygold.com.
Paid actor portrayal.
Life can be so unpredictable. After losing my dad, it made me think about my family if something were to happen to me. I had heard about life insurance through Ethos and how easy it was to get coverage. They were right. In 10 minutes, I was covered. And boom, family protected.
Ethos fast and easy online term life insurance up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at checkethos.com. That's checketh.
The Joe Cunningham Show has a new start time. That's right. Hey, everybody, it's me, Joe Cunningham, and I want you to join me every weekday at 5 p.m. here on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. All of the news and analysis that's important to you right here in Acadiana, be it local, state, or national, going to have that for you during your evening drive every day from 5 to 6 p.m. The Joe Cunningham Show right here on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.